Okay. We should be back and strong right now. Right?
You want me to
Okay.
restart the volume here?
Yeah, we start it now.
All right.
Okay, brothers and sisters, thank you for your patience. Let's refresh to make sure everything is good. Yes? We good. We're back. All praises be to the Most High. We found out what it was. There was a power issue. But we are back. All praises be. All right, how do I refresh this real quick? There you go. Thank you for bearing with us, okay? Yes, we're good. There you go. We're back. All praises. Okay. Jumping right back in, brothers and sisters. Okay. Again, make sure you hit that like button as you come on in. Our topic today, signs of the times, speak your mind, the truth. Questions, comments, and statements. Speak with the elders of the gathering of Christ Church. Let's deal with the truth. Now, speaking of that, on my way, Elder Lawya, to this particular broadcast, I had to go to Philadelphia and come in today. It so happened that on the way here, you would have never guessed what song came on. Prince, Signs of the Times. Now, mind you, check, this song was famous in the 90s, right? He says, city knows when a rocket ship explodes, yet everyone flies. Right? He went into that, and one thing he said, and you know, he was a Jehovah's Witness. He says, fall in love, get married, and have a baby. And call him lady if it's a boy.
Wow.
That statement is prophetic in itself. Fall in love, get married, have a baby, and call him lady if it's a boy. Time. You understand? And you know, when he played that, when I heard it on the radio, it sent chills through me because I'm like, it's as if he was in the know.
Right.
Concerning what we as a people would be inundated with at the very end. Y'all remember that song? Listen to it again. He says, fall in love, get married, have a baby, and call him lady if it's a boy. Right? And we just thought it was just something weird Prince was singing about, right? That's airy in itself. Signs of the times, speak your mind, the truth, questions, comments, statements, speak with the elders and the gathering of Christ Church, right? Now, one thing I wanted to bring out, and I'm going to set the stage because I know some people want to call in strictly from the discussions for the last couple of weeks. Color, gender issues, man against woman, woman against man, how no one can see things either way, and if we do talk about it, either side is offended, to the degree in which Satan wins on either side. Separate the family, children are destroyed, boom, depopulation accomplished. Right? But it's to a degree in which we can't even talk about the issues that are ailing us. Why? Either side gets offended. Either side gets offended and no fix due to the offense. It's just about now, because you spoke about the obvious of what's ailing us, now you're an enemy too. We're still enemies. Now it's even worse now. Because you didn't allow me to continue the curse that's destroying my children, male, female, vice versa. Signs of the times. Right? Read that real quick about by and by in the New Testament before we open up the lines.
Yes, sir.
Signs of the times, speak your mind.
St. Matthew chapter 13, verse number 20.
Listen to this real quick. Matthew 13 and 20. Read it.
But he that receives seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it.
So you will have a person who hears the word and receives it. Now, Christ is breaking down here in Matthew 13, folks, a parable on all who receive the truth of the Most High. Some are actually rooted and soiled deep in the ground and grow fruitful throughout this work. And it doesn't matter what comes, they'll stand because they know what? It's the truth. But then you will have it where the seed is rooted in stony ground. That means it was rooted, but it didn't take root. Or that person didn't take the root and the depth of this truth, study to show themselves approved to be able to withstand anything. Right? Read.
But he that receives seed into stony places,
the
same is he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it.
So you will have a person who hears the word, receives it, read.
Yet hath he not root in himself.
But yet the person have not root in themselves. So there's still a point of weakness there. Even though they know the truth, they can break it down, understand the Bible, but still there's a level that need to be cultivated so that that seed can actually take root. Now, this is how Christ described that root. And I'm bringing that in a time of political correctness in which no one can say anything about anybody or anything, even if it's hurting us, without walking on eggshells, without someone getting offended. So Christ breaks that down, knowing that we would be in that time, this time in which no one anywhere will receive reproof and correction to correct the generation next, which they coin Generation X. So Satan has a clear agenda for the next generation of these children. Why? These are the freedom children. These are the children who will liberate us. So Satan had to work on the parents and say, do not correct your children. I need you to walk in a freedom behavior, in a behavior of total selfishness where the only one that matters is you. I will congratulate you. I will grandize you, finance you. I will actually give you TV shows. I will sensationalize you as long as you just deal with yourself and don't give constructive building morality according to that Bible to your children. Right? So check this out. So you would have one who know the truth, receive the truth in stony ground. Read, and what happens, Elder Lawyer?
Yet he have not root in himself.
But yet the person have not root in themselves, which means it doesn't matter what's said, what comes, they stand. If it's the truth, they don't take the truth personally. They understand right from wrong and stand in truth regardless of where it might fall, even if it falls on them. Vice versa, because the Most High loves reproof. He loves a man or a woman who accepts correction, especially the correction that they've been trying to cover, that need the things that they need correction on, that they've been trying to cover. The Most High love when we admit and confess our own faults and say, you know what? When things are brought out, I know I don't like it because it pertains to me a little bit, but you know what? I'll take it. If it means my children don't suffer and have to feel what I'm feeling right now, I'll take it. I'm going to be the example. I'm going to put myself up on the cross. I'm not going to get offended. I'll take the pain so that my children don't suffer the pain. So I'll own up to my negative contribution to this society. And if it's mentioned, I'll realize, okay. I'll realize and say, you know what? Okay. I may be contributing something negative. I'm not going to protect or shield the negativity. No, I'm going to admit, you know what? It may be applying to me. Let me fix this. But instead of taking that stance, when you're not rooted, what happens? Read.
Yet he have not root in himself, but dureth for a while.
So people who don't have root with Christ, right? When criticism comes, when constructive discussions come, they'll endure for a while. But then what?
For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word,
by and by,
he is offended.
He or she is offended. Not that what's being said is right or wrong, but they become offended because they don't have root. They don't begin to understand that it's a bigger picture outside of what we personally feel. All of us have sinned and contributed something negative, okay, to our downfall. We all must admit our portion, within this dysfunction that's going on within our communities. We all must own up to it. Read on.
Verse 22. He also that received seed among the thorns.
Read that part again, by and by.
Verse 20. But he that receiveth seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word. And anon with joy receiveth it.
They receive it.
Yet he hath not root in himself, but dureth for a while.
They'll stick around for a minute.
For when tribulation and persecution ariseth because of the word.
So when something come up concerning the word, correction, usually for that particular person, read.
By and by, he is offended.
By and by, that person gets offended. And that's the roughest part of living in this time of political correctness. Everyone is right. No one can be corrected. And no one can talk critically with each other on either side to correct our issues while Satan and his army is bearing down on our children. The grown-up can't even talk to each other while our children are being destroyed. Think about that. Our children are being annihilated in this, and the only people that they look into to correct them or to help them through this are the parents, man and woman, adults. But the man and woman can't even correct each other or talk about what's ailing us, because either side gets offended. Signs of the times. The truth. Questions, comments, statements. Let's speak with the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church today. Guess what? We can end it any way you would like. You come in, bring your question and comment on anything you would like. But before we do that, there's some things that came to my attention. Okay? The brother mentioned it to me. I think I seen a video and I forgot about it about a few months ago. And it still feeds into the I would call adulation and idolatry that's going on amongst our people that I didn't even know exist to some degree until someone reminded me of it, and I looked it up. And I found out that there's a thing called man weaves. That's why I'm saying this is open-ended. We can talk about anything. Mm-hmm. I'm going to play a video real quick, and I need your opinion on this real quick. Right? I'm going to play this. This is open-ended, and I just want to hear your opinion on this. Right? Let me go here. Right? Yeah, here it is. I'm going to play it. It's plugged in? That's great. Let's not deal with the whole thing. I think you all get the gist. I think they all get the gist, right?
Yeah.
This is before, and this is afterwards. Okay, that's enough of that, right? Now, just putting that out there real quick, right? Like, open-ended, we're going to talk about anything today. Of course, at the end of this, believe it or not, we'll sum it all up with the word of the Most High with all of this discussion at the end of this discussion. But let me just ask right out, those that are on YouTube real quick with us. What is your opinion on the man weave thing? Something new that came, you know, I'm always the last to see anything. I think I seen it months ago and it just left my mind. But what is your opinion on man weave? We understand that men always had hair clubs for men, toupee, whatever the case is. Is it just another toupee, or what is your opinion on that? Just, and I'm going to ask the brothers and sisters, what do you think about that? Is that okay? Is that okay for a man to step to you like that and you don't even know how he looked initially, but, you know, it's becoming and attractive because you see him presented a certain type of way? How do you feel about that if a man was to come to you and you had no idea that he had a man weave, and then the next morning, after seeing him, the next morning, you will see him with the man weave off and the glue and stuff gone, a different person altogether? Man or woman, tell me what you feel about that. Sisters, would that be okay with you? Sisters, in particular. I'm seeing answers to that. It's witchcraft. It's witchcraft. A lot of sisters saying no way would I accept that. Some people saying that's effeminate. Sisters are saying heck no, la'ah. They saying no in Hebrew over here. No. Sisters say, well, I think that's suspect. It's wrong.
Someone here says very sick and deceptive.
It's deceptive and sick.
And elusive trickery.
Okay, and one sister say, it depends on his personality. Okay, so she wouldn't mind her husband wearing a man weave as long as he have a good personality. He respect her, whatever the case is. Okay, that's good. Okay, now that's from a man's side because I'm picking it up from last week, and then we're going to parlay it over here, over to this side, right? That's from a male perspective, right? Right? Picking it up from last week, dealing with skin color, the outward appearance, and all those things. And I know some people wanted to say some things who didn't get an opportunity to call in last week. You can do so, 515-605-9327. Okay. Women saying, listen, I totally wouldn't deal with that, right? After I seen last week how, believe it or not, Lawya, after talking about this, here, the outward appearance, how it's a sensitive matter of discussion amongst our people. I kind of figured that, you know what I mean? The best thing to do it is to put it out there, have it out there, and let brothers and sisters know what we're dealing with out there, right? Because there's something going on with the outward. Man and woman, not just women, men and women. Something is going on with the outward with our people, okay? And I believe what we do on the outside, believe it or not, reflects the inside. That if we accept the Most High and that Holy Spirit, that would emanate inside outward, okay? And that it's really about the spirit. So when the sister says something about the attitude, that as long as you have a good attitude, I can understand that if he's a good person. But I would still expect the sister, you know, I don't know. Maybe it's good for a sister to, you know, to have a good man, as long as if he have a toupee or whatever, that's fine. I just wanted to hear your take on this, because it's one thing about him doing it. It's another thing when his son, whom he respects, see him do it. Right? Because children, believe it or not, view things entirely different, on a different level than we do. In their purity and with their innocent eye. So if your son go over the top with it after seeing dad whom he respect as saying, son, this is okay. When your son take that to the next level, okay, because you're showing him, well, it's okay to do these things. There's no one to blame for that son taking that thing way left but the father who taught him it was okay. That behavior, that action was okay. And he's teaching his son, listen, okay, the way the Most High made you, who you are, what you are, that's not acceptable. Those things are not acceptable. You have to cover up yourself. You have to do things to yourself. You have to do these things to be accepted within society. That's what he's teaching his son. That man. I wanted to put that out there. Okay? But we're going to open the lines, and of course, we need to talk about what's coming in this academy. You going to stick with me for a little bit? Oh, yes. Okay, because we had a few glitches, so I need you to stick with me. Let's go in now. 515-605-9327. 515-605-9327. And I need you to plug this in, Elder Lawya. And I got it. I have it here. And we're going to go down the phone calls. And let's just open up the line, speak your mind. Because let me tell you, this world is blowing me away. The politically correctness going on, the fact that we can't correct each other on any level, even talk to each other without offense, which was prophesied. Our society and what's going on right now, folks, the degradation of our nation is the signs of the times. The fact that you're at your job and you can't even speak candidly on anything concerning your morality and where your moral line lies. People can cross all in your line immorally, and we're not supposed to say anything in public about things that are intruding on our moral line. Signs of the times. Everyone has a right to be, do, say whatever they want without any criticism. Or you're disrespecting them. Signs of the time. This society is about to implode, folks. What happens to a society in which there's no reproof or no correction, where each individual can just be disobedient, do what they will without correction? We're looking at the end of civilization, folks. We are living in the end of civilization. No elders, no correction, no unity. Signs of the times, the truth. Question, comment, statements. 515-605-9327. Let's go down the line. Let's hear what our brothers and sisters are saying out there.
All right. First here, we got the 678 area code, last four digits, 7161. You're live on Blog Talk.
Come on.
Hey, Shalom, elders.
Hey, you the first one in. How you doing, Trent?
Oh man, I'm surprised I was the first one in. Very timely, like always. But here's the thing: I think the fact of the matter is, we're not honest. We're not really being honest with ourselves. We're not being honest about the insecurities that we might have, and we also have to understand that. And as I spoke with you earlier, Elder, I told you I remove myself from all social media, telephone, cell phone, the whole nine, just to gain some clarity. Why? Reason being is because, and I don't want to divulge, and I don't want to divulge my absolute identity as of right now, but I've dealt in the entertainment industry for over 20 years, and here's the case in point, and this is what it really is. We all have insecurities. These insecurities stem from childhood, atrocities that have stigmatized and have happened to us at a very early age. And now we're adults, but we are still carrying what I like to call the child backpack on our back, even though we're adults. So whether it be the man that is wearing, these new, I don't even know what to call them, but it looks beautiful, with the video I just saw. But here's the fact of the matter: it's deception. And here's my question, and then I'll leave off. Who's the founder of deception?
Satan.
Okay. So whether it be a man that is deceivingly using outward appearance, when we know that Christ was not a handsome man intentionally. Why? So as not to look upon the beauty of his physicality and to deal with the rhetoric that stems from his mouth. Women, it's the same thing. Women deceive us as well. And now men are deceiving women. And with the woman that said that she didn't have an issue with it as long as his personality was akin to, a beautiful personality, I don't believe that. Why? Well, how come he just couldn't be that at the beginning?
Well, let me say this, Trent. I'm not in a position to say whether or not the sister believed that, right? We must take what they say or what they say at face value, because I've seen brothers and sisters accept certain things, certain scenarios in relationships that probably you and I wouldn't accept. You understand? Everyone love their own type of, love their own way. So I'm not going to say that the sister isn't true. Maybe she is correct that, as long as she got a good man, if this guy want to put on a wig or a man weave and has a good personality, that's okay. Because maybe she sees something in the guy to help build what's missing. Who knows? So I'm not going to, and this is why I like these open discussions like this, Trent, because I want brothers and sisters to speak honestly about what they feel, whether it be right or wrong in our eyes. That begins that critical, what you would call discussion that leads to all of us being able to talk to each other. That's critical stage of us being able to talk to each other so that they can grow from that child stage, if that's what it is. So this radio show, until we get some more guests, which we're bringing on, I'm not going to form an opinion on a person that I didn't get a chance to hear their full side, right? So I in respect of that sister, all right? But go on. But I understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, right. To continue on, and this is deep, I'm a black male, and I've had some extreme blessings to where I haven't necessarily had to have come up in some of the more bleak communal situations as the bulk of our sisters and brothers have had to come up in. And I know that there are atrocities, but I wanted to speak on this.
Okay, Trent, I'm gonna let you speak on it, but I'm seeing people. Yeah, I'm gonna let you speak. There's some people in the audience who actually know who you are, and put your name and the.
Okay, yeah, I don't. Yeah, please don't speak on. I don't want to quite divulge on that just yet.
No.
Okay, if people in the audience do recognize, but I don't.
Now listen to what I'm saying though. Listen to me straight up. I'm gonna let you talk.
Okay.
But they have already put your name in the movie you were in the comment, right? I'm not going to divulge it even further than that.
Okay.
But go on.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's on you.
And I'll explain as to why. But you know what? At this point, it's okay. It's neither here nor there. But here's the situation.
Yeah.
I do a lot of reading. I've been knowing you now, Elder. You and Elder Lawya. Predominantly, I've dealt with you per se, hand in hand. But Elder Lawya, I have an immense respect for both of you and the works that you guys have been doing up until this point. But here's the thing. This is a quote by Horace Mann. This is really deep because I think this is really the situation that our people are dealing with. And this is a quote, and it says that habits are like a cable. We weave a strand of it every day, and soon it cannot be broken. So I think ultimately it's our habits. And then we have to ask the question of where do these habits come from? I think it stems from Hellenism, and you can, explain and give a definition of what Hellenism is. But, it's like, so Hellenism has become a generationally perpetuated throughout our sojourning in captivity, to the point of which, although now me, myself, I'm aware of my ethnic heritage as an Israelite, and it's a nuance, I still find myself struggling in an incessant battle to unlearn the sinful nature acquired and learned from the European captors. Case in point, philandering, visual fornication, physical fornication, self-pride, just to name a few. So here's the thing, and then I'll leave off. But with me saying that, we have a tremendous issue that's going on in the community, and I feel that it's stemming from psychological warfare to the point to where we don't know what's up and what's down, and even to the point to where we are able to understand this Bible, these scriptures, Enoch. We're able to understand the Apocrypha. We're able to understand, the extra spiritual text that you bring forward. But without learning the basics, what are the basics? The basics are dealing with our insecurities. How do I know this? I've dealt with them myself. Okay. I like what Kanye West said a long time ago. The ones highest up have the lowest self-esteem on the road to riches and diamond rings. So with everything, we're trying to beautify and to make ourselves something that we internally understand that we're lacking in. And that's the problem. That's why I gave up my $150,000 automobile. That's why I gave up my $4,000 a month apartment.
Okay. Well,
now,
Trent, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to round. I'm gonna need you to round it up because I got some more calls. But go on. I hear what you're saying.
I got you. I'm gonna wrap it up. 30 seconds. Here's what I want the audience to know. You were and are a catalyst for me when I was going through these situations, when I couldn't go to the people in the industry. They turned their noses up at me when I was speaking on truth. But I was able to come to you, and knowing I've had moments of weakness where I even kind of went in on you, and you still loved me, and accepted me as your brother. And that's what I want to tell the audience. See, when you do that to the people in the industry and these executive producers and so forth, they write you off. You're done. You can't work. They will blacklist you, as you see what's going on with Monique, Steve Harvey, and other people in our community. One wrong thing said, and they will cut you off. Brother, you did not do that to me. And I want the community to know that you are literally one of the most righteous brothers and elders that I know, because even though there are some atrocious things that I said to you in some blundering moments of my life when I was hurting, you still accepted me back. I'll leave it at that. And for that, I love you for that.
Well, thank you, brother. But
you're a true brother. You don't just say something. You stand by it. And for that, you will forever be in my good graces.
Well, brother, all praises be to the Most High, okay? You don't have to. It's okay. All that go to the Most High. Like I said, the only thing we owe each other is to finish. Doesn't matter what we did in the past, brother. You my brother. Okay? Let's finish together.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to place you on hold, and I may bring you back. Who knows where this is going, right?
I'll be on hold. Yeah.
Okay, I may bring you back. Let's put it on hold for 1 second, because someone in the audience that I would like to, because I'm glad this statement was made, right? This particular statement that was made really, believe it or not, highlights a lot of quotes I hear within our people, right? Mm-hmm. LaShawn Hughley says, we need to get out of being self-righteous. Okay, I need an example of that. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Let every man work out his soul salvation with fear and trembling. Everyone is not weaned from the breast at the same time. Now, there's a lot of truth and correctness in this, right? A lot of truth that can seem on the surface saying, you know what? That's right. I can agree with this 100%. But some points I do agree with, but other points within that leaves a dark space for Satan to destroy our children. An example, someone who's struggling with molestation, but still is learning the Bible and know the truth. Right? If I was to tell that person who was struggling with that in private or whatever the case, or bring it out in the truth that pedophilia is wrong and show it according to the Bible, that it's synonymous with rape in the Bible and all that, and fornication, right? Am I being self-righteous by pointing that out? Or do I want to protect my child from that pedophile, even though that pedophile is struggling with that sin? Am I being self-righteous by mentioning that that person shouldn't be doing that? When it says beauty is in the eye of the beholder, well, okay. Well, what if, like the Most High says in the Bible, that Satan appears as an angel of light, as something beautiful? Should I accept that beauty even though it's evil? When Satan appears as an angel of light? You see how we do this? Because what we're saying here by putting these statements out amongst our communities is that anything goes, and these people can hurt us as long as they want to until they decide to do what's right. Okay? So continue to destroy and degrade and pillage our community until you see it's time for you to stop. See? See how that can be looked at? Now, this is somebody self-righteous. Self-righteous is the Pharisees and scribes. Like Christ says, beware of those hypocrites. They'll put a bond on you, but yet they won't move it with their own finger. They'll tell you, and Christ, but what did Christ say? They sit on Moses' seat. Do as they say. Mm-hmm. Right. He didn't say don't listen to them, because what they're bringing out of the Bible is correct. Right. But he said don't do after their ways, for they're hypocrites. Mm-hmm. But Christ didn't say not to hear the correction that was coming from them. So that's what's wrong with our society. I wanted to highlight that quote because that quote protect predators and those who are destroying our people, even though it sounds politically correct and righteous. Okay? Someone have to be able to tell someone in our community that what they're doing is destroying the next generation without saying, well, don't be self-righteous. Because now what if someone, an unrepentant sodomite, who want advances on someone in your family or someone you love, say, listen, you can't tell me what to do. Don't be self-righteous. So, but I'm glad that quote was brought out there. I'm glad I read that quote, because that's actually the quote, what I would call some of what you would call quotes within our communities that we hear mainly amongst the Christian community. Mm-hmm. Okay, while our community is just running ragtag to the ground, they're saying, well, you can't be self-righteous. That means shut up, don't say nothing. Let me finish destroying you and your family. Okay. Now, the Bible says if you're going to correct someone in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Coming down on people hard and abrasive without considering if you were in their shoes. Now, that's self-righteous. That's wickedness. And I need brothers and sisters to understand the two, or there'll be no correction going on amongst us. Okay. I wanted to put that out there. Mm-hmm.
And let me put this out there also, based on the example you used, the person who made the statement, we're not in any wise saying that you're advocating for or using that statement to advocate for a child molester. And we have to say that because what happens is good things that do come out and the righteous things that do come out in correcting those statements, we get on the defensive and say, well, I'm not using it. I'm not saying it because of a child molester or a homosexual. And that blocks out the fact that a lot of good correction and information just came out
exactly
concerning scripture.
And you can have, believe it or not, good intentions in that particular statement.
Right.
I've heard that coming up.
Right.
But we have to see how quotes like that and thinking like that leaves pockets of darkness in which a predator or someone can use that same phrase to hurt your children.
Right. Drug dealers.
Exactly.
Murderers.
Predators, rapists, killers. They can use that. You can't be self-righteous while they still selling drugs in our community and killing us off. So even though you mean better, because to the pure, all things are pure. But be careful not to judge righteous judgment. Okay? Because that's the spirit that have hurt our people, who have actually tried to help people who are dealing with things. And let certain people in their environment and their children were touched, their children was dealt with, and while the mothers and fathers had no idea it was happening. Because why? Of course. You wasn't trying to be over righteous. You were trying to give this person a chance.
Right. Show love.
You didn't want to judge. See? So there's a fine line between the two is what I'm saying. All right. Let's go to the next call.
Yes, sir. We got a 702 area code, last 4 digits, 6174.
Yes. Shalom.
Shalom, Elder. Bless high. One of the signs of the time is getting very, very bad. Homosexuality, I have to say, Sodom and Gomorrah. Just got finished watching a video today. A preacher from Christianity, I don't know if you guys seen it yet, but a preacher from Christianity was arrested after using the microphone. And he didn't really touch, you know how Hebrews could be. They could really jam down homosexuality. He didn't really touch the homosexuality portion, but yet a big crowd around him formed. They started putting up signs and rainbow flags, and next thing you know, the pastor got arrested. Somehow, some way, they figured out a way to arrest the pastor, who was just simply street preaching. And the offense, I mean, if you watch the video, they are actually harassing him and pushing him around and everybody that's with him. I mean, as soon as he said the prayer, it was like they just jumped on top of him.
Okay.
So,
the signs,
although they're happening around Canada.
Okay, so what you're saying, this is the signs of the times, when now it's like it was during the time of Lot, in which they actually came to Lot's door, looking to impose their sexual freedom. And I say that, guarded on Lot's family and the angels who came, who were guests at Lot's house. We're living in the time in which you must accept their imposition against you or be ostracized. And even now, while I'm actually talking about this, but check it out. I'm actually speaking and talking about this with a guarded tongue, understanding if I say what's really going on and give my opinion on it, that in the midst of this broadcast will be cut and the channel will be just taken down. You understand?
Wow. Yeah.
I'm speaking guarded. I'm careful in my words, knowing that we can say anything we want about our people, about blacks, about anything. We can talk about the dirtiest and sulliest things that's going on with our people. And guess what? There's no political protection for that. It's okay to say whatever you want about a black man and black woman, and your channels will stay up. But if you say something about a certain sexual lifestyle, that's hate. That's hate. But guess what? Anyone out there can say anything they want. I can say right now anything I want about a black woman and a black man. anything I would like. Negative to the lowest degree. And that would not be considered hate speech. But say something about that lifestyle. And that's just telling you where we are in prophecy. Mm-hmm. We're in Lot's house, and guess what? They're at the door.
That's right.
They are at the door because they'll come where you are speaking. When really, believe it or not, they have the freedom to just walk by and not even listen to you. But they'll see you out there speaking and saying one thing, and they'll come with a crowd of people and make the provocation for the media to shut you down. Mm-hmm. They'll create the hysteria. We're in Lot's house because if someone is speaking on their corner by themselves, they're not hurting anyone. You have the right to walk by. Mm-hmm. But we are in Lot's house, and they are at the door. And you know what happened right after that, right? The Most High smited them at the door and blinded them at the door, the angels, where they couldn't see. And they were still trying to fill in to try to get to them to have their way with the men. Subsequent to that, the Most High God rained fire down on that city. Signs of the times, we're at the door. Mm-hmm. What else you have to say before we go to the next point?
You said that they at the door, Elder. I know I'm jumping ahead of Shabbat, but I know he's gonna bring it out on
515-605-9327. Answer this point if you don't mind. Be right back. Go on now, brother.
Okay, so I know I'm jumping ahead of Brother Shabbat. I know he's gonna bring it out on Sunday, but Cartoon Network got homosexual cartoons now. So. And it's going to promote the children to come out freely and be who they want to be and how they want to be. In addition to that, in Disneyland, they'll have a gay pride parade. I think it'll be like weekly or monthly or something to that degree. So all the children avenues of being a child are now being sexualized. So but that's all I wanted to add. The water.
Well, thank you, Deacon Balas, for your
blessing.
You too, brother. Thank you for that call and for that information. And yes, everything we're seeing right now is really geared towards the next generation, which is obviously the children. And that's the reason why we've been having these discussions. It's not necessarily just about us and how these things are affecting us, but the reality is that everything we're seeing from the things we've been discussing from the past few weeks. Yes, sir. Yeah. Everything we've been discussing from the past few weeks, even to the information that Brother Balas has just brought out, is all geared towards attacking the children. So we have to think beyond just how these things have affected us and how they continue to affect us, and realize that if we don't fix these things now, they're going to eventually affect our children.
Exactly. And it gets to a point where Paul says when he was a child, he thought like a child, but when he became a full age, he put away childish things. And it was including how he thought. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of us, men and women, carry that childhood behavior into adulthood. Okay? And it becomes a generational curse for our children by not growing up. Okay? And that's what it comes down to. You understand? And hey, I'm glad we're having these discussions. I mean, speaking of that, that's why in the academy, folks, that's coming. And believe it or not, we having emails, piled from here to the ceiling of people coming into this academy. Because we're dealing with the spirit that came in through the disobedience of the man and woman in the beginning. And what that is. It's a matter that materialized and became a curse throughout all generations that we don't recognize. We just looking at man and woman and don't realize that thing in the middle that was created through disobedience that becomes a plague to our families throughout all generations. And it doesn't matter what race you are. Something was created in this earth that Satan would use to keep us separated, knowing that the image of God, man and woman together, was made to defeat the enemy. So it's upon him to keep us apart. So in the poison, that malignant poison that Satan used against us, a whole nother matter was created in this earth that we must contend with, that keeps us on either side, knowing that the image of the Most High is what? Male, female. Not together, not hermaphrodite, separate. But when they come together, man, woman from man, they are a force to be reckoned with. And through it, they can take down anything. And Satan understands that it's their job, once they've accomplished making their family and their prodigy, that their family and the seed that would come from that man and woman would one day judge him and those who fell with him. So that's why you got the male side and the woman side, and either can't see each other the same way and all that. And then I come out and say, you know what? Let's talk about it then. Let's have a man come out and say what he think a woman should correct without anyone getting offended, and vice versa. Because if we can't talk about it, how can we continue to complain about what's wrong with either side? Or you rather just complain about what's wrong with a man without being able to speak publicly about what's wrong with him? Okay, when I say speak publicly, not in disrespect, but in love. You should be able to tell that person what's keeping us from our ultimate mission together, to defeat the enemy. And if he's getting away with sin or doing things he's not supposed to, what? I'm not going to say anything because he might get offended? And I can't tell her that, okay, this is why we can't work, because these are the things that you picked up from your childhood that you won't let go. You got to be, just like a man got to become a man, a woman got to become a woman. And we should be able to, as adults, talk about it without either side getting offended. We're no longer children. We're no longer children, folks. So in the academy, we're going to be going into that spirit, understanding what that is. It's a curse. We're going to also be going into, folks, in this academy, 2 weeks from now, UFOs in the Bible. We are not alone. We've never been alone. We're going to break down the spirits that came down to this earth who are controlling all politicians, okay? And to let you know, these cities were created to keep us busy on the outside of their mission. And we're going to let you know what their mission is and show you from Genesis to Revelations, the UFOs. God's UFOs, unidentified flying objects, and Satan's. And what that means for us today. We have never been alone. They control all of the kings of the earth, these particular beings who have always been here. I'm going to go into that.
Absolutely. And we've already been behind the scenes putting together the information for it and, trying our best to make sure that we inform brothers and sisters, not just to bring this out as, frivolous knowledge and understanding, but realizing that, as the times draw near to the end, you're going to understand that these things that people have discounted and have cast off as fables and old wives' tales and myths and things of that nature, these things are going to start manifesting themselves in these last days. And the scriptures give us answers and understandings on how to identify this spiritual battle that we're not only dealing with now, but will only heighten as we get closer to the end. So with this information, we'll help you identify the beings and those who we are at war with, who will eventually come from behind the veil.
They're going to come behind the veil. They're coming from behind the veil. And that's why we have that spirit of anything goes out there publicly right now.
There you go.
That's why they pushing the neutral gender and all these things, so that these beings, these things, can actually walk amongst us without being recognized or judged.
Or you think I was born this way?
I was born this way. Exactly. So they are making a confused society so that they can operate normally amongst us. Them and their children. We're going to identify who they are in this academy, folks. Those beings, they're about to come. They've already been operating amongst us, folks. But now with this total gender confusion and all that,
right?
Because it tell you in the book of Enoch and other areas before the flood and extra biblical information that the hermaphrodites, those that are born with male and female members, were a product of that interaction. That so-called interaction that came into being, or what they called aliens into our society. We're going to break down the word alien in Hebrew. We're going to let you know we've never been alone, folks.
Right.
Like it have never been broken down before. And guess what? I have before me the American Holocaust. For those who are trying to claim that the Indian tribes who suffered over here are not Israelites, because they were mixed with the white race after being destroyed and pillaged like we were before the slave trade. Well, guess what? We're going to actually put an onus on those 10 tribes and let people know exactly what happened to them. Not only over here, but in Australia and other areas, so that you will know beyond any shadow of a doubt that that 12 tribes chart is on. It's right on. Only the ignorant is looking at that chart and saying, oh, they're talking about those, trying to make those people like us. The Bible says that Ephraim has mixed himself amongst the people. So he's not going to look exactly all black like the southern kingdom who ran into Africa and who was still in place during the time of Christ and the Roman Empire. Okay? So that's another ploy a lot of these so-called Israelites out there who don't have key information is using colorism, because the Indian tribes or the Puerto Ricans and other parts of the 10 tribes don't look exactly black like us, showing you that colorism is even operating amongst Israelites.
Exactly.
The negative stigma of colorism still exists, even amongst Israelites. You're talking about that 12 tribe chart is false. Guess what? It's false to you. Go up the street. Because many times people have told me they've come to the knowledge of the Most High and have put down sin after seeing the 12 lost tribes found. They realized their true origin, and they were able to do the research on their forefathers to link them back to the Israelites who came over here before the so-called European. Hey, you want to be in this academy, okay? Send an email, historytimes.org, gatheringofchrist.org, or send an email to gatheringas1, the number 1 at AOL.com. We are dropping biblical bombs in this academy. No holds barred. We're gonna treat this academy, Lawya, like it's the last one we'll do.
That's right. That's right.
This last academy, we're gonna put so much work into each lesson that it's gonna be, we're gonna do this next academy like it's the last one before being censored. We are not alone. We're going to break down what's going on in Antarctica, the beings, all that. The antediluvian world that most try to hide. The real leaders of this earth outside of our politicians. You will see it in this academy coming. And look at that. People say, listen, I'm enrolling. It'll be my 10th or 11th academy. That's how deep it is, brothers and sisters. No 1-3 months are alike, what the Most High be giving us. And when Shabbat go into that news, it's real-time news up into the moment prophecy and understanding of what's going on right now. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to miss this. All right? All right. Go to the next call. Open in. Let's just have a conversation. Signs of the times. Speak your mind, the truth. Questions, comments, statements. Speak with the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church. I'm Elder Rawchaa, along with Elder Lawya. Whatever you would like to talk about. Guess what? I'm going to now place the microphone into your playground. Come on, talk.
All right. We got Queen from Texas here.
Yes.
You're live on Blog Talk.
Okay, Queen from Texas, you're live, sister.
Shalom.
Shalom. How are you?
I'm one of those type of people that like to sit back and just observe.
Hey, sister.
You know,
Hey,
you let the
hey,
Most High talk to you.
hey, sister. Your
Can you hear
phone.
me?
Yeah, your phone sounds like you're underwater. Or you have us on a speaker. What is it?
No,
Okay. Let me see if
you're
I
not
can.
on speakerphone.
Whatever you did right there, it's better.
You're going in and out.
Okay.
When I hear you talk, you're going in and out.
Okay, it's perfect right now, sister. Come on.
Okay. Carry on.
No, sister, go on.
And of course, I'm also a counseling therapist, so I talk to a lot of people a lot, especially before I say anything. And I've noticed that the more truth that I learn, the more that, like, when I look out from the outside looking in onto our people, the more that I realize that they, you know, just being their advocate, so to speak, in a way, that they really do not know the Most High. You know, it's like Timothy says, they have a form of godliness, and I think it's kind of on an unconscious level. But the more that I tell them about the Most High, the more that I realize that they really love wickedness and evil and lust, and they're selfish, because they'll fight against it. The more that I tell them, but just as long as I'm quiet and I'm learning, I can see how far away that they are, and it kind of goes together, you know, in both ways. And then also, speaking on this gay issue, you can't even ask. You can't even question them, you know, ask a logical question. I'm going to say this, and I remember when I was an undergrad, we had a human sexuality class, and our professor was teaching, yeah, it's okay, it is normal for children to be born gay. Of course, I did not believe that, but in the book, it says that children that are born gay, like, say, for instance, a female child, that child has the genetic makeup. You know, the brain is genetically made up as a male, and vice versa. And so I was like, okay, with all due respect, I hear what the book is saying. So I asked a question that made him hate me. And I'm sure if he saw me today, he'd still hate me if he remembered that. But I asked a question when he was, you know, backing up this book. And I said, since, according to this book, that, you know, a female have a male's brain and a male have a female's brain when they're born, I said, isn't that a physical deformity? You know, the body parts aren't congruent. And just because I asked that question, you know, he just took off it. I was like, no. But he never could answer my question. He was just mad at me for asking the question. So, yeah, we're at Lot's house. So,
Okay,
yeah,
sister.
you cannot question them. You cannot ask anything to even make them think, you know, because if they think outside the way that they want to be, then they're going to come back at you, you know, for, I guess, challenging, for challenging the way that they think about themselves and the way that they want to see things, so to speak. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Well, thank you, sister. That's a good point. Right? The whole thing is, and what she's saying is, when you bring out points, they refute points, claiming that something is wrong with the book or how we view things. But in reality, people just want to do what they want to do. They want to do wickedness and not be told it's wrong. That's what it really comes down to. It has nothing to do with you breaking it down so that they can understand it. They don't want to understand it. Okay. And that's why Christ told us, he made sure he left a sign or information through the disciples on how his followers should walk in these last days. He says, you can't cast your pearls before swine lest you be rent underfoot. Be careful who you talk to. Okay? And I'm saying it in general. You have to wait for the Holy Spirit to show, especially you working and all that, and you out there in the public and believing everyone wants to hear what you have to say. you have to be wise and understand that sometimes it's smart not to say nothing at all. And bide the time, but be ready to give an answer when the opportunity presents itself. You have something, Elder Lawyer?
Yes, sir. This is Isaiah chapter 59, verse 13 through 15.
Come on.
In transgressing and lying against the Lord, in departing away from our God, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood. In judgment is turned away backward. In justice standeth afar off. The truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Yea, truth faileth. And he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Lord saw it and displeased him, and it displeased him that there was no judgment.
That there was no judgment. That's the time we're living in today. It displeased the Most High that he looked down on our people and realized there's no judgment. That a predator, a thief, a destroyer, anyone that have knowledge of this world can utterly annihilate the poor, can totally tear apart the righteous and the poor without any consequences. That's the world the Most High seen amongst a people who once had judges and judgment and equity.
And to speak out about it, it says, he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. To even speak about it and to raise up and actually say something about it, you become an enemy. You automatically get a target on your back. Like you stated, if you're in a workplace, you become the brunt of everyone's existence, or you become that thing, that light in a world full of darkness that everyone hates to behold.
Yeah. It's to the degree in which if you continue to do so, they'll be justified killing you.
Right.
And guess what? That's coming, if not already. You're going to hear people say, I was victimized. He shamed me. He said something. And I just went outside of myself and I had to deal with this person. Like the other guy who started knocking stuff down in the game store saying, it's she. I'm not a he. It's she. It's ma'am. It's ma'am. And started knocking stuff over. Saying, if you call me a man one more time and I'll meet you outside. You become a prey now. And guess what? That was actually deemed as a courageous act. No one's seen this as something as vandalism. You become the prey. I'm glad you brought that out.
Yep. And like you said, they'll be justified because they'll go into this thing where the only thing that came in my mind, I blacked out and I thought about the time I was bullied when I was 13.
Exactly.
And,
and get political protection, and will be allowed to go out in the public with that particular type of behavior going forward against those who believe in family and righteous morality. Morality as it was intended by the Most High. We're not free to uphold or protect the Bible's moral line. You're not free to do that. Next one. Let's go to the next one here. 404, right?
Yes, sir.
Something else I wanted to show in a moment. Shalom. Shalom, you're live with the Gathered of Christ Church.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Signs of the times, speak your mind.
Yes. So I was looking up some things and doing some research, and I found out that one of the signs, well, a few of the signs of the times right now is homelessness is at a height. They're doing like a homeless sweep and grab, and it's the highest it's ever been, actually. So they're separating the classes right now. I do know that's biblical. Yeah, so I think right now Washington is like the capital right now dealing with the most homelessness. Another one was weather, which we all can see that. And seeing more people overtaken with spirits. That's a big one. I'm seeing everywhere I go now somebody walking and riddled with them to the point where the spirits are taking over them. I'm seeing it everywhere now. I also found out that they were doing sweeps in parking lots and things like that too from other people like Walmart, Target, places like that.
And then, but bringing back, you were speaking of creatures that will be among us and that they're bringing forth. They're already among us. They brought back the giants, and they're bringing back the mammoths and things like that, using the bone marrow, and then bringing those creatures back. I did some research on the giants and found out why they'll still be useful aside of AI, like robots and stuff like that, to control people. I don't know if you ever heard the term feed, fire, so fun. Have you heard of that? The little riddle thing with the feed, fire, so fun. I think they smell the blood of an Englishman. Well, in the search looking for the children of Israel, it was said that giants had a heightened sense of smell, and they were able to determine the actual nationality of those that they were seeking to get. And so that's where that little riddle, when he says he smells the blood of an Englishman, Jack and the Beanstalk, when he went up there, he was able to identify what nationality that person was. So that's something else they will use them for in the end times, to try and engage the people as well. Another sign of the time was...
Okay, sister, we got 2 minutes. You got to wrap it up now. We try to give 2 minutes for everyone now. Go on.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, it was about, you saying when you correct people, if you becoming their enemy, or that people don't want to fess up to what they've done wrong. I know for myself, I don't have a problem fessing up to my mistakes, even though I'm ashamed of it. But I think the big thing a lot of people deal with is when you speak and you're able to share forth things that are scripturally on point, people look for a flaw in you. And then the minute you have a human moment, or a moment where you kind of have a shortcoming or whatever, people engage that, or people look to see that, to prove that you're not who you say you are. And so that's something a lot of people deal with upon sharing the truth with people or trying to correct them. Delivery can be off. People do that. And so that's another reason people want people to speak up and emphasize their flaws. And then the battle between men and women.
Okay, sister, I gotta go to the next call, sister. Sister, I'm sorry, I have to go to the next call. I only have about 2 minutes per call, okay? I apologize. I have to go to the next call.
Can I speak with Sister Shirley?
Huh?
May I be able to speak with Sister Shirley? I've been trying to get in contact with her.
Sure, I can write down a number and give it to Sister Shirley here. Your name is Ahaba from Georgia, right? Okay. All right. I got you, sister. I have to be respectful because what happened is the time will go by. If you bring in 3, 4, 5 points and one can't get out 1 point, it's unfair. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. We're going to place you on hold.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
All right. And let me say this. Okay. Also, when we bring certain things out, right? It's been times where we brought out some understanding. The Most High just gave us some insight on something. And out of nowhere, we wake up the next morning and put the lesson together because the Most High put it in our spirit to actually bring something forth. And I'm saying that so that brothers and sisters can never get offended when it comes to our radio broadcast or our lessons, because it's not like we have some individual person in mind we're looking to attack.
Right.
We're bringing forth what the Most High is putting in our heart to bring forth to help heal our nation and have our people become accountable to our negative, accountable for our negative contributions to this fallen society. So we're not putting things out there so that brothers and sisters can get offended concerning what we're bringing out or get mad at us or think that when we see somebody, we're talking about them. No. When you see us, we're going to always be who we are towards you. It doesn't matter what shortcomings are going on because we all are struggling with things. But we should be able to help each other to overcome them, these ailments and these things. And I want brothers and sisters to know that when we bring out these radio shows, it's not to pull out something negative or point something out or try to laugh at people. No, none of that. It's to say these are the curses, if we're not careful, that our children will suffer even worse than us. Tenfold. Because with each generation, the curses become worse. So it's upon us, men and women, to stop it and realize our negative contributions to the downfall of the nation of Israel without getting offended. And know that anything we're bringing out is in the spirit of love. And sometimes, guess what? I bring out things And when I read the Bible, it cut both ways. It's not just me telling you that I'm this all, holy guy and all that, and you should be like me. I read this Bible and things come up concerning what I need to correct. The Bible cut both ways. That's right. So I wanted to put that out there so that brothers and sisters out there will know that this is not about attacking anyone. It's actually putting all that stuff that we've been hiding and hiding out there when it comes to our insecurities and laying that and saying, listen, we talk candidly on it. Now let's put all that stuff on the cross with Christ. He died for all that. Let's stand as men and women of the Most High going forward. And let's not, hold any of these negatives of the past against each other. But we got to first talk about it, right? And I'm saying that because after my broadcast last week, a sister, believe it or not, that seen it, sent me a video, right? Because we were talking about, I think out of nowhere, Elder Rawchaa said that he wished that sisters would just love their hair the way they are, and they don't need all that. That men really love them the way they are naturally, and have always loved our sisters. Like in the 70s and other eras, where families was together and people were having their own hair. And it was deeper than just the hair. It was the consciousness and the morality and the beauty of the woman. And on top of that, our sisters are naturally shapely. These are the things that have nothing to do with the hair and all that attracted the men. Right? So too much of anything is bad. You understand? No matter what it might be. And I was speaking about it last week, last Sabbath, and said, well, listen, I've seen sometimes where some of what sisters put on looks nice. The accessories or whatever the case is, they do a nice job of making themselves look presentable, which is part of their femininity. Absolutely, it looks nice. But still, all of our actions has a what? It has consequences or a reaction. Now, even if it looked nice, if it leads my daughter now to feel that's what she would need to feel beautiful. Okay? Mm-hmm. It's one thing for you as an adult, but what is it doing for her? And thinking that, okay, because I know every boy wants to be like his dad, especially if his dad is a respectful, strong male. And every young girl wants to be her mama. What would it do for her to see you and know that, okay, that's what beautiful is? Because look at mom is looking beautiful. Because sometimes the hair and all that be looking good. So she's gonna grow up saying, I'm gonna do what my mom doing. See, now we are responsible for whatever happens to that girl. Okay, having to strive for that level of beauty. We're responsible for that. Okay, and I'm saying that, openly, saying that level of beauty, because that's really the example of beauty that's portrayed within the Western world society. Right? A sister sent me a video, and I said, you know what? She says, I'm glad you talk about things openly, and you know what? It's not offending people, but it's talking about what's happening. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to need to show this. Okay. And I'm going to show it. And I need you all to give me your opinion on this, because I didn't go looking for this stuff. A lot of this stuff was sent to me by brothers and sisters who are saying, you know what? I'm glad we're talking about the male and female thing, because eventually we're going to have to stand together against the enemy who's coming. I'm glad you're bringing out points without attacking brothers and sisters, but at least talking about them so that we can look at them and correct our families and our children with constructive, critical love. We're getting a lot of emails saying, I'm glad these conversations are happening. That it's not in a degrading, hatred type of manner. It's a manner in which we can at least discuss it, because people are suffering. And she showed me a video of someone who's suffering, who put it out there for sisters. And I want you all to see this real quick. And give me your opinion on this. Let me play the video. And I don't want anyone to try to make fun of what we're seeing here. Mm-hmm. Okay? Let's make that clear.
Right.
Because I'm going to start blocking people. We're going to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
So how have you been wearing your hair?
Sewing.
Sewing?
Yes.
For how long?
Years. Or I'll do the wigs. I've tried quick wigs sometimes.
Over the wig. How long do you think you've been wearing them? The braids and sewings?
I'll say maybe that was when I graduated high school. I've been wearing it. That was 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I've been doing my own sewing. So that's that's fun.
Come to find out, it's called alopecia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've been braiding it up.
And you say you've been braiding it up? And
And if I don't braid it up, I'll make a wig.
Since the age of 11, she said. Since the age of 11. Let's listen to that once more.
So how have you been wearing your hair?
Sewing.
Sewing?
Yes.
For how long?
Years. Or I'll do the wigs. I've tried quick wigs sometimes, but I want to let my hair breathe.
Sewings.
Over the wig.
How long do you think you've been wearing them? The braids and sewings?
I'll say maybe that was when I graduated high school. I've been wearing it. That was 2011.
Now, I'm not going to go too far. Sister sent me this, and I'm going to tell you right now. Words couldn't express how I felt when I seen that. When she said she did this at the age of 11. She started at the age of 11. Beautiful girl. When you look at this girl is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful girl. And the adults in the room, father or mother, was able to be there at that most integral point of her life to let her know, listen, you're beautiful. Right? I don't see a grown woman right here suffering this. I'm seeing a little girl who wasn't showed true love. And now she has to suffer the rest of her life with something because she's been covering up her natural beauty. It hurt me to my heart when the sister sent me this video. Because it comes a time where we as adults, mother and father, have to start taking responsibility for this. She's suffering a generational curse there. Right? Now, I'm not wrong for bringing this out. Because there's many girls, many daughters who are suffering this, and it'll only get worse. It'll only get worse if we don't continue to talk about it and say, well, yeah, this don't happen to every sister.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some people keep their hair better than that and all that. We understand that. But what about sisters like this who fall to the wayside now? Right? So just out of anywhere. And sisters to the degree, I see some sisters just now just shaving their hair bald. And just wearing their hair bald now. Suffering from the years of doing that, covering their hair and all that. But where was the mother and father at the age of 11 here? Okay. Someone should have stepped in. And guess what? If you can't step in, okay. How do we fix this so our daughters in the future don't have to suffer this? How do we fix this? How do we fix it? Let's not judge nothing. How do we fix this? So our daughters can feel good about what the Most High have given them naturally. Listen, someone says, children are so cruel in school, Elder. And you know what? That's a shame. Because I can see that. The peer pressure of keeping up with what we coined the Joneses.
Right.
Right? I remember growing up in school and all that, and people calling me Blackie and all that. And you know what? I was laughing at them. I'm like, hey, okay, all right, that's good. Blackie, that's cool. And it never really got to me because I seen how beautiful my mother and father was. And that was instilled in me. And my father used to say, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you're fine, son. Don't worry about it. He says, you are fine. And I didn't go home, oh, I've been bullied, oh, Blackie. I would joke back. Let's do it. Let's go back and forth with it. I'm good with it. Because why? I knew no matter what went down, I couldn't change the skin I was born in. Mm-hmm. Well, what am I supposed to do? Okay? By the same token, I can understand girls, young girls more so. The Bible says give honor to the sisters as the weaker vessels. Sometimes they wear a tough posterity, but all in all, there's still that little girl in there. You understand? And this world is cruel. But it's up to the father and mother, especially the mother, to be there at that integral, at that pivotal time, to let them know who they are and and the girl that God blessed and made, who's a blessing to this world. Every child of Israel is a blessing to this world. That spirit can only be instilled through the parents is what I'm talking about. So let's not talk about yesterday like I said last week. If any of this coming out have us really at a point now in our lives, we can now sit back and examine this critically and understanding our contribution to what's wrong by not saying nothing at all or not trying to fix it or instill in our daughters the other areas that's needed in her. You understand the other attributes, the spiritual attributes. We need to now cultivate that, what's inside of her, what the Most High made in her, opposed to allowing her to try to, parallel herself with the world. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's up to us to instill that in her, that's what the other girls are doing. And that's what makes you so special. You don't have to do that. Let them pick on you. But really what they're doing is projecting.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're projecting. Because when you show your beauty and how the Most High made you, now she has to reflect back to why the pressure I'm putting on her isn't working. Why is that she's being recognized as beautiful without doing all this? They be projecting. And that's what the sisters say. The children can be so cruel. So what? So what? You cannot break to peer pressure. You must stand on what's right. And that's what sisters have to stand on. And you have to have fathers there to instill that in the daughters. Mama can say it all day, but a lot of these girls are being raised without their daddy. Mm-hmm. And the father can instill in her and tell, listen, you're beautiful, believe me. And she'll believe it. She'll understand it. And that'll be all the compliment she needs. But he's not there. Right? Let's go down the line. 515-605-9327. Signs of the times, speak your mind. What's next?
All right. I had someone in the chat mention they're from the 340 area code. They've been wanting to speak since last week.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull you in just to confirm if you are that person. You are live on Blog Talk.
Shalom. Oh, it's this one. Oh, one moment. One moment. Okay, you with us? Hello?
All right, 340 area code, last 4 digits 9312. You're live on Blog Talk.
Oh, no, that's it. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. Are they there? Let's go to the next one.
All right. All right, so we'll
Did they hang up?
I put them back in the queue. I didn't see if they...
Let's go one more time. 304.
Okay, let me see if I can find it here. 340.
Yeah, let's try it.
All right, you're live on Blog Talk.
340, you're live on Blog Talk. Oh, let's get the next one then and go back later. Come back later to that.
All right. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have 315 area code, Kyler from Florida.
Kyler from Florida. Signs of the times, speak your mind. Sure it's working? Oh, that's the wrong one. That's why.
Okay.
Let's go back to the 340.
All right, so we're going to put you back on hold, Kyler, and we're going to go back to the 340. We'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's these cords getting mixed up here. All right, let's go back to 340.
All right.
Sorry about that, folks. Got cords all over the place. Need a production team here. Go ahead, let's do it.
All right.
I'm sorry about that. The cords got mixed up. Talk to us. 340 area code, you're live. You're live. We're about to go to the next call if you don't chime in.
Shalom. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Hello, Elder?
Come on, let's go.
Shalom, Elder. Oh, I can't believe I got in. I just want to say on this topic about, I'm here in the Caribbean right now, Benjamites. I just want to say that this topic on the hair, I will never, ever put relaxer in my daughter's hair. I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old daughter. And I've worked so hard for myself because I use relaxer for 20 years of my life. I had to go through the whole transition, the scalp issues and all of that. And one thing I could say is that
sister, I'm gonna give you a moment. I need you to expound on what you went through. Not just talk about it, because you said you went to a transition. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you more than 2 minutes to explain what you went through and what you used to do before. What was a result of you going through that? And how was you able to make your way out of that to the degree in which you will never have your children suffer it?
Okay. Well, when I was younger, I had like a thick, very thick, big afro. And then when it went into the 90s, there was this thing about relaxing the hair. And so my cousin decided, hey, I didn't even give her permission. One time I went to visit her, she just relaxed my hair, and then she cut it. And then so that was a traumatic experience because I had a thick, big afro that she relaxed because it was a thing for the 90s to flatten that hair. After that, I was addicted to relaxer, went every 6 weeks to get it done at the Dominican shop. Simeon shop. Then I went through breakage sometimes. My hair would grow long, but it wouldn't grow too far past my shoulders. It would break. I would have scalp burns sometimes. All kinds of issues going through on and on. Sometimes you have good times with relaxer. Sometimes you have bad times where pieces of the hair fall out. You got to put apple cider vinegar to kind of balance the pH in your hair so that it doesn't fall out. And I went through that, and I just figured this was my life. At one point, I didn't know what my hair looked like anymore. And so then I decided, you know what? when I got pregnant with my daughter, my 9-year-old, I decided I didn't want the chemicals going into my breast milk or anything like that. So I just flat out went cold turkey and just stopped relaxing my hair. Then I started transitioning using like braids and stuff like that. But while transitioning, my scalp had to go through like an exfoliation process.
Okay.
There was like a lot of dandruff and all kinds of things that were happening. Like my scalp was like coming up, you know? And it took years of just constant, washing it with like tea tree and different things to get it back to health, to pH balance. And then after that, I asked the Most High, because that's how I actually came upon the truth, because I heard these people online talking about the daughters of Zion, and they were haughty. And I was like, I didn't even know the daughters of Zion. They're like, I don't want to be like them if they're haughty, not knowing I was a daughter of Zion. I want my hair to grow. I don't want to be haughty like them, not knowing that I was Israel. And I just, prayed to the Most High, asking him to help me. Help me, number one, find the truth and the floodgates open, and then help me to figure out what to do with my hair, and help me to take care of my daughter's hair, and give me the wisdom to do it. And after doing so, the floodgates, all kinds of ideas came on how I would touch the hair. My 9-year-old daughter, she has like that bush, that beautiful, pure wool bush. And my other daughter, she has like some waves, waves in her hair. And I got to tell you, it's that bush that people will call nappy and can't grow. But my 9-year-old daughter has a big bush. Like if you locked it, it looked like woolly locks, but except I have it free. I didn't lock it. And her hair is down to the middle of her back. That's my 9-year-old, down to, like nearly down to her waist, her bush.
Praise the Most
And
High.
my 7-year-old daughter, she has like a little bit of waves, like kind of afro curls, and her hair is down to her tailbone. And my hair right now, after going through all that stress and trouble over the years of relaxing, is to my waist. And it's afro hair. And you know why? You pray to the Most High. As a woman, you ask for beauty. You ask for all the things, not to be vain or anything, but as a woman. And you ask for these things for your child. And you ask for help. And you have to humble yourself to such a degree to know that, hey, you're doing the wrong thing with relaxing and doing all the things. And just ask the Most High. And if you believe He will help you, He will help you to restore your beauty. And so I just have to say, I found out, and I teach my daughters that love, that blackness, everything, it's so beautiful. And there's no one out there in the street that can tell them anything different. They don't see it, the world, like, upside down. I'm trying to help them to see it right side up. That's West India, by the way. I'm trying to tell them
sister,
right side up.
Well, sister, I want to say this before I put you on hold, because so many people send us emails and say, thank you, Elder, for dropping this or bringing forth this. Listen, I'm just a servant, right? I'm just a servant. That's all I am, right? But I would like to say to you, sister, thank you. And the reason I'm going to say thank you to you, because you are instilling in your daughters what's needed to break the generational curse. And with each generation,
praise the Most High.
Sister, what you're doing is miraculous in this time. Not having to deal with the peer pressure, not making an excuse for it, understanding what you've gone through, and you're going to make sure your daughters don't go through the pain and suffering that you've gone through. And the Most High is going to continue to bless you, sister. And He's going to bless your daughters.
All praise be to the Most High. Elder, you don't know that this is what I want for them, for every little black girl I see. And when the other little girls see my daughter's hair, they're like, how are those weaves? How can I get my hair to grow long? And I just want to hold them up and show them and talk to their moms and show them black hair can grow and does grow. It grows wonderfully. But you just have to humble yourself. And I just got to say this. I thank you, Elder. I thank you both, Elder Lawya and Elder Rawchaa. You have no idea, and I know the name of Ahaya is real. I know it because I was pointed to it, Elder. And I was pointed to you. To the sea, I'm telling you. praise the Most High. I know it's real. Not anyone on this earth can move me off that rock.
Thank you, sister.
Oh, praise be to the Most High.
Thank you, sister. Bless you. And,
all right.
And never lose.
Bless you.
Never lose that passion. Your daughters will thank you when they get older for this. They will. Bless you, sister.
Oh, praises. Oh, praises. All right, Ella. See you in the next academy.
Oh, it's going to be a big one. And you know what?
Yeah, I was there last time. I'm going again.
Thank you.
I'm going every time I can.
Thank you. And I'm glad. And guess what? This is nothing scripted. I had no idea she was coming in. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to hear those feel-good stories. Mm-hmm. It's nice to hear those feel-good stories, to know that, like anything can be accessories or put on for a moment. But you have to realize, when you allow your hair to do what it do, or naturally give it sun, give it nutrients, give it vitamins, and give it the sun and its natural thing, and you pair that with a virtuous spirit, the Most High is going to bless everything about you, because I tell you in the Bible that the hair is your beauty. And why do you think these other nations started targeting the sisters and inundating our communities with it? Understanding that praying to those gods over there, those ancient Babylonian gods, would cause confusion in our communities. The same time they were separating the man from the woman, they was putting out this false image of what beauty is, to play on our sisters' insecurities and to give them that synthetic and all that stuff to cover what the Most High can make naturally long and beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I know some sisters out there, I'm not going to turn this show into that, but all in all, sisters say, well, that's what our brothers want and all that. Well, listen, to each person, they can decide what they want for their wife. That's between a man and a woman. I'm not here about the man and woman and what men are looking for and all that, because a lot of men out there are dealing with straight lust, fornication, or whatever the case is. So we can't deal with their example of what of what attraction is, or who's attracted to what, because the majority of the world is carnal. So I don't think a woman or a man should acquiesce to someone's carnal attraction needs. Okay? We shouldn't acquiesce or bow ourselves or say, listen, let me compromise my morality and my health, because this is what the world accepts and this is what men are chasing. Or vice versa. Right? I'm not going to speak down on that man earlier who went and put that in his head. That's why I asked you, what is your opinion of it? But I know I wouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do it. It's just that I just wouldn't do it. Okay. And I just wanted to put that out there, because I want my son to know it's okay to be you. Mm-hmm. It's okay. It's fine. Read the scripture you got real quick, Elder Lawya. I need you to read that.
Yes, sir. I'm going to start in verse number 6 of 1 Corinthians 11.
Yes.
1 Corinthians 11, verse number 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn, let her be covered. So
it says it's a shame for a woman to be shorn, let her cover. Mm-hmm. It's best that the woman have her hair covered. You understand, when it comes to when the Bible is speaking, when we're teaching and all that, and when the Bible is being spoken, the woman is supposed to have her head covered. Okay. And that also showed to some degree that when a woman is covered, that she belonged to someone, which actually was a deterrent for those in old times to try to talk to a woman who was already with someone. So a woman have a veil when she's married, she cover her face. But after that, to show she's married and dedicated to the Most High and her man, she would have a veil over her head in public, so that other men out there will know she belongs to a man. Mm-hmm. That would keep down fornication. Mm-hmm. Right? Read on.
Mm-hmm. And also the point, it says that it's a shame to be shorn, to show that we understand that the power that comes with the woman having a natural beauty of her hair, so on and so forth.
Because it's a shame for her to have her head shaved. Mm-hmm. But due to some of what's going on, our sisters being targeted with all these products and all, like the sister was mentioning, mm-hmm. it's making it where women have to now shave their head. Mm-hmm. And the Bible says it's a shame for them to have their head shaved, but there's no options for people who have damaged their hair with alopecia or whatever they call that now. Okay? It's to the degree now where even the media is only typecasting sisters who have a box haircut or a bald head. You know, as the example of sisters and showing everyone else in their beauty with long hair and all that. Y'all don't see that on the media now? That's on purpose. Go on.
Verse 15, here's the point. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her.
It is a glory to her to have long hair.
For her hair is given her for a covering.
So the Bible says her hair is given to her for a covering. Read.
But if a man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God. Listen on that.
Okay. And when you go into it, it lets you know that a woman's covering is her beauty. That's part of her beauty. Okay. So I wanted to go into that. I wanted to talk about just that piece of it. And I'm glad a sister came in and said, well, listen, I had to take a stand for my daughters. Okay. And of course, everyone have their own transitional period. Okay. Based on what they're dealing with individually. I don't know what people are dealing with individually. Okay. All in all, everyone have their own So some person or some sister or brother or whatever the case is might not immediately want to come out of that based on whatever the case is. They want to have their own time to come out of it. But at least the conversation is being had that will lead to correction. Okay?
Right. And one more point. I hate to stay on this point.
Go ahead.
But, you know, this is based on something we just bouncing off a discussion from earlier.
Yeah.
If someone is still dealing with it, so on and so forth, it's not something like where you have to feel like you have to make the transition because of us.
Yeah, don't make that. Listen, if you feel fine the way you are and you like it, listen, no one is going to judge you adversely at all. No one's going to look at you and find out, well, who's wearing what on their head and all that. Nah.
Right.
Nah. Don't think that we're carrying some phylactery around trying to look at people's head and trying to judge who is doing what. We'll never do that.
Right. Just let every man be fully persuaded in their own mind.
In their own mind. Know that we're never talking about anyone personal and everything, but we're putting things out there, especially the things we can point to that's actually part of the degradation of our people. Mainly those that are in the world. Okay? Mainly what's going on in the world. So a lot of us have our own transition in our own time. So don't think that no one is now, I don't know whether or not I can come to church or come together. Nah. Don't even worry about that. Okay? It's all in your own time. What's next?
Yes, sir. You want another call?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to Kyler in Florida.
Kyler in Florida. Okay. Hey, Kyler.
Shalom, elders.
I'm blessed by the best. Talk to us. Yes.
All right. Well, really great topic and discussion. I want to say a lot of great points are coming out, and also I wanted to kind of slightly piggyback off of what the last caller said, and I'm going to try not to be long-winded, but
please don't be long-winded because we want to actually transition. We want to transition off of this topic and open it up for everything else. But go on. Go on.
Okay, no problem. So I'll just say this. I really strongly feel that, children are our future. They are very, very much a big, important piece in how we operate in this world, and it really sets the tone on how we raise them. I look back into, the times of our ancestors. They weren't even thinking about us when they decided to continue to sin, and those blessings and those curses that were set before them, yes, it was for them, but it also was for generations to come. And you can see the pattern of how everything bad had happened when they did not decide to take their future children in consideration. And now that we're in this present moment in time and we're going through all of these, crazy, ludicrous, things that are happening with our children, where parents aren't really raising them. It's the system, it's the TV thing, it's the TV shows they watch, how our sisters are looking and dressing, how our brothers are talking and acting. I really feel like it is a very, very strong, point that we have to put across to our children. We do have to uplift our kids. If we don't want this continuation of this cycle, if we don't want to have these broken homes and these broken children and these sad and, insecure, adults, we have to focus it on our kids. We have to really buckle down and be on our kids. How do you expect your children to be honest with you when you're not honest with them and yourself? How do you expect to be looked at out here when you're not being the example for them? Kids are going to always monkey see, monkey do. They're going to see what they want to be what they see. They want to, emulate what is around them. We're a product of our environment. So I feel like if we really take accountability and focus on that, look within ourselves and look at how we're being looked at to the younger generation. You can't sit here and say, oh, there's young people and this and that is doing this. When you guys are promoting it, you're not being on them, you're not being stern. It's not like we had it back in the old days where, the older families were really on our kids, be in by this time, don't be out doing this, but at some point it got watered down. It just started getting cracked down, especially the TV shows that we're watching now, and our older generation is dying off, so it's just they're focusing it on the immediate new generation. It's just, I really strongly feel that we really need to put a lot of our focus and attention on our kids and on our younger ones, because they're going to be here before us. We're not going to be here forever.
Thank you, sister. Some great points, Sister Kyla. Great points. And it all comes down to knowing the Most High, keeping His law, instilling that law, and which is the Most High through the Holy Spirit, which will in turn, which will in turn instill a confident, healthy spirit in our children. Okay? We have to pray with our children. We have to get a connection with the Most High. Parents. And that connection must be handed down, must be actually nurtured within the household. That healthy connection with the Most High, where now she or he understands how the Most High feels about them. And that's the spirit they carry out of that home. And if anything, these particular children will become what you would call alphas, as they claim today, in most scenarios, where they are dictating the trend, opposed to the other way around. Okay? And I'm glad the sister say, spend more time in understanding what these children are actually dealing with. And help them through the peer pressure point. Okay? What's the next one? Let's get it.
We got Anawa from Texas. You're live on Blog Talk.
Come on. You're live on Blog Talk.
Shalom. I have 2 comments, 2 questions really quick. The comment was, as far as the guys in the earlier video who were putting the weave in their hair. Yeah. It's kind of like, when the women put the weave in their hair, you don't worry about it. But when the men do it, some people would have something to say. And it's just kind of reminded me of the homosexual thing when it comes to 2 women. People might not have much to say, but they kind of gross out when it's 2 men, and it's really the same thing. So that was one thing. The other thing was, as far as the conditioning of the women with the hair, for me, when I was 11, my mom permed my hair. Well, she permed my hair when I was 11, but before then she always pressed my hair. And she got tired of pressing my hair, so she permed it. And from the pressing, it taught me not to like my hair, because I was going from one style of hair to Fridays getting my hair pressed so it could be ready for church on Sunday. And so I was wanting my hair straight all the time, so I stopped liking my kinky hair. And so I went from the kinky to the press, from the press to the perm, and before I knew it, I only wanted my hair straight. And so that's the conditioning that came about, I think, with the women. Okay. From early on with not liking our hair, because for a lot of us, before the perms, it was the pressing. So the question and the comment, the 2 questions were, one, can we get more lessons on marriage for the women as far as the role of the woman and submission and things like that? And then also, I was reading that in Matthew, he said that the end would be like the days of Noah. And when I was reading the days of Noah, it stated that a lot of the people were dying off before the flood came, and Methuselah was the last one, and the rest of the people that were left were evil. So I was wondering that will the righteous start dying off in the end time? And that's all.
Sister, those are good questions. I'm going to place you on hold. It's happening as we speak. Look around. There's almost a funeral of our loved ones that we're attending almost every week now. It's called the depopulation program, and it's going on. A lot of people are being put to sleep now. So we're living in it. We're in the days of Noah, where it's to the degree, and we've been so desensitized that it's nothing to, bury someone close to us and just, and just go about our day the next day like, okay, I used to know him. Let me go on with my life. I remember when a death used to be traumatic to the point where it would shut you down for a week, 2 weeks. Death has become so prevalent in our society. It's just like living now. It's just like it's normal. We've been desensitized. So yes, but to the degree that we don't even understand the magnitude of death that's going on. People are being put down at an alarming rate right now. And it's like the days of Noah. But I wanted to say something about the daughters. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus real quick. When the Bible says, keep her in straitly. In Ecclesiasticus 26 real quick. Now, sisters be asking us to bring forth the information. But on the other hand, when we do bring out information, on the other hand, some people be saying, well, there's too much information on sisters, but there's no information on brothers. We just bringing out information. We're not being biased on either side. Okay. Just the realization of the matter is when we bring out things about brothers, I'm not getting too much pushback from brothers saying you shouldn't be saying that or whatever the case is. And there's no pushback on either side when things are being talked about concerning what the brothers are doing wrong. Okay.
And the reality is that the majority of information, not that we try to make it slighted against brothers or sisters or slighted towards brothers and sisters, but the majority of information is going to be towards brethren anyway, because they are tasked with that responsibility of getting things in order with themselves, which will eventually have a trickle-down effect on the nation.
See, but there's another piece that most people don't understand, and we'll go through this in the academy. When Ezra had to be, he was met with a task by the king to say, which is more powerful? What are the most powerful substance of influence on man in the earth? And we're going to go into that in those lessons. And the three that was powerful: wine. How many things you wish you didn't do while under the influence of alcohol, right? Wine. The king. But guess who was above the king? The woman. The woman was more powerful than wine and the king, because a man will go out and get riches and all that to have a good woman. He'll sacrifice his life just to have what he would perceive as a trophy. I've accomplished the woman of my dreams. So he becomes the bane of the man's existence. And there was only one thing more powerful on earth than the woman.
Right.
And you know what that is? The truth. Without the truth, you don't know what to do with either, with any of it. And you'll be ran ragged by a woman if you don't have the truth, because that's how powerful she is, according to the Bible. See, and that's why sometimes the emphasis be what you would think disproportionately be talking about the power of the woman and the things she does, because she possesses a power that can either uphold a man or destroy a man. Okay, that's how powerful she is. Okay, and the Bible tells us her power. The Bible explains that. There's nothing more powerful than a woman on earth than the truth of the Most High. Without it, there's no man who can contend or deal with a woman. Okay? She can destroy you. It doesn't matter how powerful or strong you think you are. A matter of fact, she's the one who makes you believe you're so strong and powerful. Okay? until you slight her, and then you will see how much power you lack. Okay? That's how powerful she is. And it's talking about a woman's power. And you know what? The king had to reward Esdras for that observation. The wisest observation on earth is saying, yeah, the king is powerful, money is powerful, and guess what? The wine is powerful. But guess who the king, guess who took the crown off the king's head and put it on her head and slapped the king on his throne while having wine? And he's sitting there laughing and joking with her. A woman. Let a man would have taken off the king's crown and laughed and smacked the king and see if his head wouldn't have been on a spike. Okay. We're going to be going into those. We're going to be dropping it in this academy, folks. That's why we're dealing with, because the woman have the power right now to undo the curse of the next generation. Why? Because the men have been moved out of the way. Really, it's on her now, because the man have been moved through society and other intricacies within society to keep the man from the woman. She's the most impressionable over the family right now. It's her impression over the family. Okay, it is. The men got to step up. And like I said a few weeks ago, it's upon the woman to relegate some of that power, knowing that men are ready to step up. But all in all, the power is in women's hands right now. That's the reality of the truth. Let's go. Read it real quick.
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 26, verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless.
It says, if thy daughter be shameless, which means your daughter is walking with no shame or example of virtue. I'm looking at what's going on with the R. Kelly thing. With one of the girls who went up against R. Kelly now, saying that she was, taken advantage of and all those things. And then she went on the programs and said straight out, yeah, I told him I was 19. So in an interview, she said, I told him I was 19. And then someone asked, well, where were your parents? Oh, well, I told my parents it's summertime. I told them I was out with my girlfriends. While she was getting turned out by R. Kelly, lying that she's 19 years of age. But no one is looking at the parents. And this is not to excuse R. Kelly's simplicity and whoremongering and the things that people do in the music business. But this girl thought it was okay to lie to her parents, showing you the lack of what you would call correct and spiritual, what you would call control that's supposed to be in a house, a healthy house with a father and mother. She lied to her father and mother, or mother at the time, because I don't know if her father was around, and said that she was out with her friends days at a time, hanging out with R. Kelly. But now she's a victim. Okay? Why? Read that again.
If thy daughter be shameless.
If she be shameless, well, she don't care. She's going to do her. She's filling out into her woman's body. She's going to do what she want to do. She's going to get hers. Okay? She don't care what people think. If she be shameless, read.
Keep her in straitly.
Keep her in straitly. What is that? Keep her in and protect her from herself. Like our grandmothers, like our parents used to do and say, no, girl, you're not going to wear the uniform of a streetwalker. Okay? That will not be allowed. You're going to stand up and have good posture and have a dress and cross your legs when you're sitting. Okay? You're going to know what it is to be a virtuous woman. Here's your curfew. And I know a lot of girls grew up, when I was growing up, girls had to be in the house before men. because there's different rules. Men aren't getting pulled out and raped and getting missing after 10 o'clock. Okay? And I know my sister used to look at it like, I'm older than him. Why he can go out and do this? My father used to say, listen, because you're not a young man. That's why. You get killed out there. So it says, keep them in straitly. Read.
Lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
Because she will abuse herself with overmuch liberty. Are we not suffering from what we're reading right now? That our daughters are getting too much liberty? To the degree in which society is saying she should have the same liberty to be with as many people as she wants. She should be equal with a man and what men are doing and not be shamed for it. Okay, that's what's going on right now. So the Bible says you have to keep her in because why? If she don't cover her shame and get out there, there's no reeling her back in, folks. Satan can take her. Satan will take her. Right? And whose fault is that? It's the parents' fault. It's the parents' fault. It's the father's fault for not being there or allowing her to wear certain clothes and all that, being sexualized, before the age of 10. Being sexualized. I seen little girls, like I said a few weeks ago, little girls out there with leggings on. Or the mother would have booty shorts with a name or something on the back of her daughter's behind at the age of 5 or 6, walking down the street as if they are not pedophiles within our communities. And wonder why our sisters and our people are becoming over-sexualized. That's on the parents, folks. That's why we're bringing this out. It's one thing for us to suffer the curse, but why allow the curse to continue to corrupt our children is the issue. And that's another lesson I'm going to have. You know what? We have to put this down. We're not going to have this for the academy. This is going to be for a radio show. Where are the leaders in our communities? Do we have leaders? And if so, where are they? That's going to be the next radio show. Where are the leaders? Where are the leaders? Come on, let's go. Next call.
All right, we got Lena.
We're going to do about
Florida.
10 minutes overtime, okay? Because I need to get all these calls. Lena from Florida.
Shalom, Elder.
Bless you. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best.
And his name is a higher. That's right. Say it. Do it.
Yeah, that's the best thing that I hire. I just want to say that it's a blessing to learn from you and from Elder Lawya and you, because I've been asleep for a long time. I just wake up since last year, and I just want to say thank you for put together a beautiful Passover, and that's my first one, and thank you for letting me share my little gift at being a vendor. And about the topic tonight, I want to talk about men not just get their hair done, but they also have hair color, eyebrow wax, and weave and everything else. But the thing is, it's not how you see it looks, but it's the upkeep. Like after you get it done, you have to keep it up. So if a man too busy about his beauty, who gonna be my protector? You know, when a fight broke out or somebody rocking you, he's gonna worry about his hair when pulling out. He's not gonna think about saving anybody. And for the man, it's supposed to be a provider and a protector, not supposed to be look better than a woman. You know, if I have a man and he got good hair, that's a bonus. you know. But
good
if
hair
he
is a bonus,
bald,
Lawyer.
God is more forgiving when he bald. You can shave it off and still look good, you know. So and like me, I'm a woman. My husband, his hair is like number one all over, and I like to run my hair over his head. So some women like short, but if you don't
We're
have
getting
it,
at that hour, ain't we?
don't try to over.
Here
you know?
it come, GOCC at night. Okay. Hey, sister, let me ask you this, right?
Yes.
Did you say
Yes.
did you
Yes,
say
Elder.
did you say anything about I think you mentioned that what did you say? I lost
About
it.
a man hair.
Yeah, this thing you said about good hair. What do you mean about if a man has good hair, that's a bonus? What's that?
Well, if you born with a nice head of hair and you don't go bald when you were young or like in your mid age, that's the bonus. But women, we don't care. Like me, I don't really care much about how the man's hair is supposed to be look luscious and long or whatever.
Okay.
I just want the man to, men have to be men.
As long as he's a man and can protect
and
you and exactly to be the masculine energy, a man that fear the Most High and will protect and nurture. Protect the home and raise the children correctly. That's more so the attributes you're looking at, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you, sister.
Yeah.
You could place on hold. Those are some good points. All right, let's get to the next call. 316 area code. Signs of the times. Speak your mind, the truth, question, comments, and statements.
All right, we got Michael from Kansas. You're live on Blog Talk.
Shalom, elders.
Bless you.
I just wanted to comment on the man weave. Because I've been in the barber business for the last 22 years.
Oh, okay. We have an expert on.
Okay,
we have an expert. Come on.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, listen. This is new to me.
I've seen.
Hey, bro, this is new to me. I was cutting hair from the age of 15. I grew up cutting hair from 15 to about 19. And then I just faded out. But, no pun intended. I was cutting in high school and all that. But I'm sure things have changed. I never had to deal with a man weave. But go on.
Yeah, well, what I'm seeing is when the elderly man, when they lose their hair, they want that young look because it's more vanity. They want that woman to give them that approval. I'm firmly against it because the process. I've done one before, but the process is just too much glue on the hair, and I always try to tell them just deal with the basics. Wash and condition your hair. But, it's just because there's so much vanity out there and the women looking like, shoot, I want me a Drake. I want me such and such that, that's what I want. And the men feel that they need to have that in order to get in the door just to even speak to the woman. Because the woman, not all women, but some of them just like, I don't even want to talk to him. He's not up to par. He don't look like I want him to look.
Okay, so they'll come into your barbershop and ask for a Drake.
Well, what it is you can do dreads, flat tops. You can do all kind of sorts of different hairstyles, which brings on different types of looks.
So how much?
They like it, but
how much does something like this cost?
Go ahead.
How much does something like this cost? A man weave.
It's gonna run you about $400 to $600.
$400 to $600. Lawyer, where my clippers at?
No, that's right.
Hold up, I need to get back into the game, man. But go on.
90 seconds.
But go ahead. Lord have mercy. Come on.
It is a high maintenance hairdo. You can't sweat, you can't wash your hair, you can't work out. And I just tell people, I said, man, just do the basics, clean yourself up, eat the right stuff, And your hair, you should be able to, keep the follicles clean, because
60
I have
seconds.
come in here and say that, man, if I wash my hair will fall out. I was like, what? Who told you that?
So let me ask you. I seen them put the glue on top of that. Was that the Elmer's glue?
No, that's some type of like wig bondo glue. What it does, once it dries, it clears up, and they put the hair on top of it. Now the one with they put the cap on, that's for like you're not exposing the scalp.
Okay.
Now, if you want scalp exposure where you can see your scalp and it looks more natural, you won't put that cap on there.
Let me tell you. Listen. I'm gonna tell you, brother. People are just laughing at me right now. That to show you how far disconnected I am. You know what I mean? I see white glue. I'm thinking about pasting squares and circles in kindergarten. Right. You know, that's how far out of the game I am. So they got hair glue. Okay, come on. You see, listen. I don't know nothing about nothing, brother. Yeah.
But see, now they're coming out with the units that will fit on top of their heads, which will last longer.
Okay. All right.
So like 2 months, 2 to 3 months. But you're not washing your hair. You have to go back in and pull it off, wash it, reapply it. And it's glue on the scalp, which is clogging the follicles of the hair.
Okay. I'm glad you're bringing this information, brother. I mean, I'm glad someone has the expertise and in the field. You understand? Because to me, it still comes back to and I hope the brothers work it out. But I mean, like some of the women were saying in the chat earlier, the women were saying, well, listen, if you looking like Drake tonight and George Jefferson tomorrow, that's going to be an issue. I'm going. All right, brother. I'm. Let me place you on hold. All right.
I got one more thing.
Yeah, because sisters ain't dealing with it. They're not going to deal with it. Come on.
As far as women with natural hair, my wife was using relaxers, and her hair started coming out like the young 12-year-old that showed in the video. I told her to go ahead and go natural, to allow your hair to heal.
Yeah.
And your scalp to heal. One of the things that she ran into is once she went natural, she cut it. People looked at her crazy. And that's what, 1 minute she's looking nice, the next minute she got shunned. Be like, they just give me that crazy look. And I noticed, I said, I have to reinforce that, because through her, my daughters have never had relaxers, and they doing just fine. But
yeah, that's good.
It wasn't until we went out of town. The young lady, a sister, came up to us like, I wanted to come up to you, but I was scared. But I just wanted to ask you about your natural hair, because I wanted to do it. It looks real good. And then that's what sealed the deal.
Look at that.
So it's encouragement.
Praise the Most High. So how do your daughters deal with the pressure? Because, there's younger girls out there that it's more so a style thing than it is more so than anything, being able to have different styles and all that. And usually when a young lady is young, you understand she's still dealing with that vibrant, strong, strong genes to some degree, in which her hair can bounce back and all that. It's only through time where it really affects her. But all in all, how do your daughters deal with the peer pressure of wanting to have that different accessory type thing like other girls? How do they deal with the pressure?
They get braids, but they knew just to stand on their own just because they watched their mother. Okay. Yes, I'm pretty sure they went, well, I want this. Like, no, because I show them down the road, because I do see a lot of elderly women with wigs, and where all the sides, the nape of the hair and all that was ate out. Yeah. So I was like, no, you want to take care of yourself, because all those chemicals in the hair, which we learned from good hair from Chris Rock, that's not good for her, which I already knew.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to know. But, because even though you allow them to dip and dabble when it comes to the braids and all that, because a lot of that is cute, I know that. But still, you bring a balance to that, right? To where, well, okay, you're not going to go too far into this. I understand the cute thing, but listen, We're not going to have you damage yourself long term. Right?
Right. Because you have to watch out with the braids, because the braids will damage the hair.
Okay.
To an extent.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So,
well,
Elder Carr,
brother, I really.
Elder, this is Maloney.
Oh, my man, pots and pans, Maloney. You know, he's been with us from the beginning, man. Thank you, brother. Every time you say your name, I remember I remember when there was only 14 people on the calls on Skype. 14 people. Mike Maloney was one of the first people in our classes when there was only 14 people actually on our Skype classes every Wednesday, right? 14 people. He was there.
Yeah.
Man, bless you, my brother. I'm going to call you soon.
Bless you too.
Good to hear you.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom. And you know, we have a single coming out, A Highest Powers with Me. It's coming out this coming Monday, where you'll be able to download it. And then we're going to drop the whole project. A matter of fact, I wanted to put that out there real quick. Since we're talking about anything, throwing it off, Jambalaya, Signs of the Times, and Speak Your Mind, to let y'all know, Monday, you'll see on a site that we have called Truth Genre on YouTube, the release of the first single of the Gathering of Christ Church, the official single called A Highest Powers with Me. And Elder Lawya actually did something that's, I told him to come in. I called him in and say, Lawya, with that voice, I need you to do the Lord's Prayer in English and in Hebrew behind some very soothing and relaxing music so that brothers and sisters can fall asleep with the Most High on their mind in prayer. Let me let y'all hear a little bit of this before we take some more calls. One moment. I want y'all to check some of these things out here. Right? And you'll be able to get these with the new project. We're going to have 12 songs strictly on the spiritual side, just breaking down the Most High and information that will help us stay strong as a people in praising the Most High, and 12 songs, a separate project with inspirational music that even the world can understand, that will transition them into the knowledge of the Most High through music. Listen to this here. I want y'all to check out a few things here. Is that it? Oh, let me give it here. I want y'all to hear this, brothers and sisters. You'll be able to purchase this coming Monday. But I'm just going to play a little bit of it. And I know people are going to say who this sound like, but don't worry about it. I did that on purpose. Here it comes. A Higher Powers with Me. Check it out. Anticipation, right? Maestro did the music.
Is written all over your face. Scientific intricacies you created out in space. Oh yeah, you can do what you wanna do. Tempos with no voice and that. You can think how you wanna think now, but you can't stop us. The truth is rising. But to lose, we refuse. I will go down without a fight. You think that I can't say it? What you're doing to me, yo, you cannot defeat me. 'Cause I'm loyally. My hand on your heel, I'm pulling through. A step ahead of you. You think that I can't see? You know, a higher power's with me.
That's right. coming Monday. 2 projects, folks. It's going to be nice. One other thing. I want y'all to check out just a little bit of what Lawya did. Real quick here.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. All right, upon Elder Rawchaa's request, I'm going to just play a portion of the Hebrew. Otherwise, you will have to get the project in order to get the fullness of what you're hearing tonight.
Yep.
All right, so let me try to find it. Our Father, thy kingdom, give us this day. Anasaya one above, Kawat waf nawa, Hasalak nawa, Kawat waf nawa wala'a, Kabayak nawa, Anasaya one above, Hawashai nawa, Manrai Kayalaka.
It's going to be wonderful.
Our Father, which art in heaven.
There's so much more, brothers and sisters, in this project. It's going to be inspirational. I believe this music is going to help change a lot. As far as it's going to help us in this metamorphosis, this change towards the kingdom of heaven. Positive music. We have a song, Make a Nation Like Abraham. So when married couples get together, they can put on a righteous song.
That's right.
To have righteous and virtuous children through. Okay. It's called Make a Nation Like Abraham. We have songs. I got a song called Ordinary Girl, how there was a young lady who grew up, knew what was right, went to church, and everyone thought that she would actually become, a great mother and a provider, and went to the city, and the city took her. It's called Ordinary Girl.
That's one of my favorite right there.
Yeah, how the world just changed her, made her into something that none of us could foresee. Everyone loved the young lady. She had aspirations, smart, intelligent, beautiful, but then the world got her and turned her into the reverse of what we all thought she would be. It's called Ordinary Girl.
If you don't mind, if I could just give a little bit, as I remember the backstory to that particular song.
Yeah.
I remember that was around the time that Whitney Houston, we heard the news that she passed away.
Yep.
And that kind of served as somewhat, I think,
as an inspiration
to the song.
How the innocence she had in the beginning, but the world turned her away. Babylon turned her into something. And now the world sees her as that and not that pure talent that first began. It's called Ordinary Girl.
Right.
There's another song called Unpicked Fruit, which is one of my favorites because even though we're the apple of the Most High's eye, it seems like everyone else get picked over us. Why are we unpicked? Why is the Most High's chosen people the less desired in this earth? It's called Unpicked Fruit. I mean, I mean, you're talking about a project that took almost 7 to 10 years to complete. And it will be here, brothers and sisters. And hey, it's going to be nice. And I want to put it out there that if y'all want to pre-order the project, right? Let me give you the email that you can use to pre-order it. If you send an email and say, I want to be in a pre-order, an email, you'll receive an email with all the details of it. You can get the hard copy that's going to have the scriptures and all that in it, as well as the details of how the songs were created. You can have that and the download, or you can get either one, okay? Let's see here. Let me give you the email address, right? For pre-orders for the project. You'll see it here. It says Royal. That's it right there. No. 1 second. Let me get it here. GOCC Royalty Music at gmail.com. GOCC Royalty Music at gmail.com. Send an email if you want to be a part of the pre-orders, okay? Let me finish opening it up. We only have about how many minutes left? We have about, we have some time. We got about, what, 40 minutes? We're not going to take up the whole 40 minutes, but let's take some more calls now.
I just wanted to read something real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Off the back of what the brother was bringing out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is something that has existed all throughout history, or we're really dealing with this for the first time.
Yeah.
Where you have men who are growing into maturity and of age, still trying to appeal to people, 13, 14, 15 years old. And you look at the, music and entertainment, pop culture, it's like you have grown men in their 30s, their 40s, still trying to appeal to young folk. Yeah. In relation to what he was bringing out concerning men growing into that state of maturity and doing certain things with themselves. Yeah. Adding prosthetics. To try to recapture their youth. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And one thing the Bible states is that, believe it or not, one of the beautiful and most glorious things about a man as he matures is the things that come with maturity, such as gray hair, and the natural process of growing into age. It says here in Proverbs 20 and 29, the glory of young men is their strength, and the beauty of old men is the gray head. So as you can see, just that natural process of growing older, it's a representation of gray hair, growing wisdom and understanding that, that comes with time, with living on earth, so on and so forth, opposed to trying to, I guess, turn back the hands of time and go back to a time that will never return. Yeah. And, it's deep because even, getting haircut and all that, the guy asked me, did he want me to spray some of the white hair that's growing in certain areas? I'm like, no, I'm straight. He told me, I'm like, what you doing with that? What's that? Right. I'm like, yo, you can do graffiti over there in the bathroom, brother. I'm good. Right? Something happened here. Suppose I come on here with a beard looking like Lawyers. Total black. I'm like, come on, brother. People seen me at a full grown man teaching lawyer at the age of 17 or 18. Come on, let it go. Please let it go, But a lot of people ask, well, what about putting line on your head? And I know a lot of people ask because Hebrews say you're not supposed to put a line around your head. That scripture is not talking about a haircut. Right. That scripture is talking about actually making cuts to the gods. Okay? Like what you see on Apocalypto, where those guys had tattoos and they had different haircuts and all that all up in their head, like the Mayans, the Incas and the Mayans. That's what it's talking about when it talks about cutting your hair to the gods. Not speaking of a regular haircut. Okay, let me make that clear. All right. So I wanted to put that out there. Maestro just texted me about the song. It says, man, Elder, this song is huge. He's not just talking about that one. He's talking about the song Save Me. Now, Save Me is deep in itself because the brother Trent that I just talked with, all in all, the song Save Me I wrote a long time ago. And it's a song about knowing what's right
having that connection with the Most High. And here it is, you may be in one of the moments of indecision when you're being pulled from either side, the world or the kingdom, and trying to choose at that pivotal moment the Most High against all adversity. It's called Save Me. And even in the song, it tells you the Bible fell on the floor and it opened to the law. It's like you're dealing with that indecision. The Bible falls on the floor and opens to the exact verse that you need to choose the right side. It's a song called Save Me. Man, I can't wait till a lot of you hear these songs, brothers and sisters. I believe it's going to be an inspirational tool that'll help us through these hard times. Because why? A lot of these songs were written during hard times. Two Wrongs. I got a song called Two Wrongs. How a man can see things one way and a woman will see things entirely different. The same thing differently. And both are arguing that they're right. Okay, both of us are right. But if we break up and go our separate ways, Satan wins. So who was right? We both were wrong. We both were wrong because this is not a challenge, one against the other. We're supposed to be together. So people are men and women are taking sides for the sake of being right. But if you lose all you invested in the relationship, who's right? So the song is called Two Wrongs. That's on the project. Okay? It's two wrongs. We both are wrong. Because where's the love? Where's the love to the degree in which we can't suffer wrongfully and just take the low and say, me losing a person I love isn't worth this argument. It isn't worth this difference tonight that Satan have in our presence, which we believe is the bane of our existence. Thinking you can go out there and get someone better. And then you look back and say, you know what? That disagreement wasn't worth it. These people out here that you're trying to get with are crazy. Okay? A lot of these people are hell-bound. And you tend to look back and say, you know what? I could have tolerated that little argument there. You understand? It's not even worth it trying to start over and get someone to know me like she know me or vice versa. It's not even worth it. It's called Two Wrongs. So, a matter of fact, it's going to be a dialogue before each song. And after the fire's gone, I got a song with my son that's called A Vision. It takes the vision of Daniel in the last days, the time we're in now, and I put it in the song, The Vision of Daniel. Man, it's going to be something else. Praise the Most High. All right, we only got a few more moments. Let's go.
All right, we have
Barbara from Florida.
All right, we got quite a few from Florida tonight. You're live on Blog Talk.
Okay, let's try to round them up, okay? Let's try to wrap them up. Yes, Barbara, we're with you.
Thank you for taking my call, and I am so excited for the body, the church, and what the Lord is doing and going to do. Although it's a little scary, but it's exciting at the same time.
That's
because
right.
We're treading new waters, new ground, and the Lord is with us. But coming from a hairstylist of over 30 years, just wanted to touch on some of the things that I've experienced, and from the pressing comb to the jerry curl to the relaxer to the braids, now the natural hair. You know, I've seen this years back, the relaxer that was going on the scalps of the women, that it was a chemical and that it wasn't good for the health, close to the brain, multiple pores, the chemical was going on. And fast forward to today, I find that the women, not only do we not know who we are, but we do not know, or we have become unfamiliar with our hair. So now I'm at a place now where I know the Lord is going to provide all of my needs, and I'm really talking the women into loving who they are, who the Lord created them different from all people on the earth. Our hair is vastly different. And I'm teaching them to love and appreciate it and to see it from the Most High's perspective. And another thing, I just wanted to say that the definition of good hair versus bad hair, good hair remain on your head, bad hair fall out. So I just wanted to reiterate that good hair, bad hair. Texture doesn't give the definition of good or bad. The hair leaving your scalp is bad. So, Shalom. Just wanted to put that out there.
Tawada. And one thing that's out there that a lot of people don't know is that a lot of hair loss and men going bald and all that, a lot of that is a direct result of the vaccine era. That's killing the follicles in the hair and all that. That's a direct result, a lot of it, of the vaccines. Some people just have it where their family, their father just have it and hair fall out, and the son may have it too, which is genetic. But in a lot of instances, the vaccines help progress that particular degeneracy when it comes to the hair follicles. Okay. Also, when it comes to the vision and all that, not being able to see, astigmatism, a direct result of vaccines. I wanted to put that out there. And these are not things of my opinion. These are studies that are out there that'll tell you vaccines cause the astigmatism in which you needed glasses. It causes hair loss, hair loss and all that. So some of the things aren't all our faults. It's just walking in ignorance and following what we believe is the right path in protecting and helping our children under health care. So we must be aware of any substance we're putting in our body, vaccines, food, whatever the case is, because all of those things has a, it brings results. I mean, not results, but they have side effects, what we put in our bodies. What's next?
All right, we have here, we have Tamina from Florida.
Okay.
Shalom, elders.
Talk to me.
All praises to the Most High.
And his name is Ahia.
I just want to say that.
Right. Come on.
Shalom, elder.
Talk to me.
I just wanted to make a few comments about how our people, all of us, are still hurting, coming from, what we've been through, our families and, aunts, uncles, going through. We never was taught, proper things because they, all weren't taught anything that was proper as well. So it's difficult, for a lot of people coming back and getting back right with the Most High. First of all, the people that are in the truth and that are, following the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High should be able to help the ones that are searching and looking for, they know that something is missing, but they're not quite sure. The only way we're going to be able to get our children on track and getting back in line with the laws and living righteous lives and being the royal leaders for the future is to get the adults together, to get the women and the men in line, because they're the ones that are teaching, the children.
Yes, that's the key.
So I mean, it's hard for the mother and fathers because they're lost, and if they're lost, how you expect the children to be, in a righteous lifestyle?
That's true. See, but that's what the truth is for. That's what these broadcasts are for. It's because, I mean, who none of us know who these videos are going to fall on. You understand? That's the reason why we're actually having these discussions, because I've had many private conversations where brothers and sisters say, I was struggling with something, and then the Most High had your video pop up on the same exact thing that I was struggling with, that we were struggling with. So that's why these discussions, even if it doesn't help, even if it doesn't help people in our current, vicinity, as far as while we're broadcasting or whatever the case is, these videos be falling on those who need them. The Most High will allow it to happen. Yeah.
It does. It has, because when I came into the truth, I had a dream, and in the dream, it led me to your guys' video. So I mean, it's the spirit is moving, and it's real. This is no joke. This is serious, and it's a spiritual battle with our people, and we have to be able to. That's why I keep my head covered 24/7. If I'm in a shower, I wear a bonnet, because I'm always talking to the Most High.
Man,
always communicating, always crying out for our sisters and brothers and our children, because every second, every minute of the day, there's something going on with us. Well, and it is sad and it hurts that you cannot physically help everyone. The only thing you can do is pray. That's why our people need to fast and pray. Fast and pray, because we have to. That's the only way we're going to help one another.
Well, sister,
is in prayer.
Okay, I'm with you. We got to go to the next call, but I'm going to say this. You can put it back on. I'm going to say this, sister, real quick. You can give your hair some sunshine now. You can. Come on now. Don't get too extreme now. Next thing you know, people will play this and say, see what the Elder Rawchaa them talking about? Now people are running around with bonnets on their head in showers, and you know what I mean? the family looking at you like something's wrong with you, let your hair breathe and give it some sunshine. It's okay. All right? Let's go to the next one. All right. I need to go on record on that. I have a grandmama, aunt calling everything. What you do to my daughter? She ran around with a bonnet everywhere. You know what I mean? No. Let it breathe. Give it some sun. It's okay. Let's go.
All right. We got Judah from Massachusetts.
All right. Let's go.
Shalom, Elders. How y'all doing?
I'm blessed by the best. His name is Ahaya. I am apparel.org. That's where I got this shirt from. That's right. Ancient Hebrew.
All right.
Come on.
Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear. Talk to me, young man.
All right. When it comes to people and getting to stop being so vain and wanting this hair and deceiving people, I truly believe. I'll choose my personal experience. I truly believe we gotta love ourselves. But for you to love yourself, you have to know the truth for one. And then you have to love the Most High and your child. You have to love them for you to love yourself. Because if you don't love them, if you don't have faith in them and confidence in them, no matter how hard you try to love yourself, there's always going to be a constant battle within yourself. It's going to be going from worldly to spiritual, world to spiritual. You got to believe that the Most High has your back. And you got to give him thanks and glory for everything. Now, he brought me to y'all when I was in the worst part of my life. And I always prayed for wisdom and peace of mind. And he gave me that. He brought me to y'all. And I bless him every day for that. And I thank y'all for showing and for preaching the truth to everybody. I know that's the Most High is doing. But at the end of the day, you got to love the Most High. And you got to love your child. You got to know who they are. You got to be real with yourself, too. You got to understand who you are. Take the criticism. Pray for the things that's hard to pray for. Righteous criticism. Being safe from yourself. But most of the times we hurt ourselves. We sabotage ourselves. So, and it's a process. You know what I'm saying? And then, once you do that, people know the difference in you. And you realize it's working. But in the day, you gotta love You gotta love your child. You gotta give them the glory. You can't idolize any man. Even for y'all that's teaching me the truth.
Okay,
I can't
bro.
idolize y'all. I gotta give all glory to the Most High.
Thank you,
I
brother.
think if people do that, that's just the basic part.
Thank you, brother. I
We'll be
appreciate
okay.
it. I appreciate it, brother. Great points. I'm gonna place you on hold. We got to get through these. I got a few more, and then we're gonna digress for the night and give you the rest of your evening. GOCC after hours, of course, right now. Let's go.
Request.
All right.
Let's see.
Where is it?
All right. Let me see. Is this it? 770. Last 4 digits 6284. You're live on Blog Talk.
Shalom.
Good evening, Elder. This is Sister Maria. How are you?
I'm blessed by the best, and his name is Ahia.
That's right. I have a couple of comments. I first want to comment on the men with weeds.
Okay.
And I'm talking as a professional. I've been doing hair for about almost 20 years now.
Okay.
But as far as the men with weeds, so I had a couple, sister who called me one day and said, her husband wanted to get that. And, I thought about it because I said, well, his hair's not thin, and, I wonder why. She was like, oh, he just wanted to try it out. But, they ended up not doing it. But I remember asking her, like, are you okay with that? And she was like, well, yeah, of course I'm okay with it. I wear weeds or I wear wigs sometimes. And, I've been married to my husband for all these years. And, I know my husband. But I'm only bringing that up because there was a sister who made a comment in the chat saying that she would be okay with it. And then for those who don't believe, some sisters will be okay with it.
Okay.
And my opinion on that, real quick, is I think it would be very hypocritical for me to say I don't, I wouldn't like a man, with a weave or whatnot, because I wear weaves and I wear wigs. And but for my reason, this, if you want to compare it to his reason, women have to do their hair, they style their hair. There's different things that they do to their hair that takes time. When it comes to a man can go to a barbershop and and get a haircut for 30 minutes, and it can last them 2 weeks. Women have to do their hair, often, especially women with 4C hair. When I say 4C hair, that's women with real kinky, natural, tight, curly hair like myself. And I remember sending pictures to a couple of friends of mine, showing them, my wash day. Because as a professional, I promote healthy hair. Before I was in the truth, about 5 years ago, I went against relaxers. Every single one of my clients are out of relaxers. I did the research. It causes lupus and so forth. Coming out of a relaxer is not as easy if your hair's out as a professional. What happens is when you get new growth, the new growth is growing as tight, curly hair, which is like the 4C hair. So now you have that new growth and you have that straight hair. So what happens is it gets tangled and starts breaking. So what you have to do is cut it until, that natural hair grows up to be all natural where you don't have any relaxers. I teach classes about that as well, so I don't have enough time to expound on that. And I really wanted to call as a professional and make comments because there's a lot of people who's uneducated as to why people do certain things, and whatever the reason is, it is their opinion, as you said, and as I agree with that. I have a lot of clients where I have grown their hair from like 2 inches to like 16 inches, and now they're wearing their own hair. And then sometimes they go back to the weave. The purpose is, as for me and a lot of women that I know, is because it's easier. As a professional and being in the workforce, I have 4 children. I don't have time to do my hair every day. So when I send pictures to my friends and they're like, why don't you wear your own hair? If I were you, I would wear my own hair, because I'll send them like a picture where one side is wet, where it's kinky curly, and it looks about 4 inches long. So you would look at me and say, wow, where's her hair? And the other side, I blow it out without flat ironing it, and it's past my shoulders. So I'm showing them, too, how even though that I wear the weave or the wig, I wear wigs now. I come out of the weave because the wigs is much easier and much easier to take care of your own hair. I tell them taking care of your hair and doing it properly can promote hair growth. And how is that so? Especially with a wig. When with our hair, the less you manipulate your hair, the more it grows. Our hair requires a lot of hydration and moisture. So the sister who called who was a Benjamin, who said, our hair can grow. Yes, our hair can grow. The reason why it doesn't look like it's growing as fast as the other nations is because the curls are so tight, because hair grows half an inch per month. And any professional can call and can agree to that. You can look it up. Everybody's hair grows half an inch, at least half an inch per month, whether your hair's curly, whether your hair's straight. The reason why the other nations can see their growth faster is because it's already straight. So when our hair's growing, you can see it. Also, taking care of your hair and trimming your hair at least every 6 to 8 weeks also promotes hair growth. And of course, too, it has to start from the inside. Eating properly, drinking a lot of water, taking the proper supplements, things like that. So I just wanted to give like a positive feedback. A lot of women do wear weaves nowadays. And also I wanted to comment about as far as the natural hair. Natural hair's in. Most sisters don't have a problem with wearing their hair natural. Or you see a lot of sisters too, even if they have a weave, they'll wear like a kinky hair or curly hair, something that looks closer to, our race or whatnot. So it's not as bad as, where it was like in the 90s or the 80s where women were like straightening their hair or getting relaxers, where it was like, like a negative thing if your hair's natural or kinky. That is in right now, because even the other nations, they wish they can have their hair like ours. So I just want to, give a total different comment compared to all the other comments, because I can see how some sisters can be affected by some of the comments, thinking that it applies to them. I don't have to worry about that, but I know how it affects some people. And I had a client who was 27 years old. This is my last comment. She was 27 years old. She had her hair down her back. She used to travel from South Carolina to Georgia to get her hair done. Do you know what I had to do when she comes to get her hair done? I made sure there was no clients there. I had to cover all my mirrors because she had alopecia. This was not from relaxers. This was not from weave. She said it runs down from her family. I had never seen nothing like that before. She said it skipped her mom. Her aunt had it. What happened was her hair started falling out from the edges. She only had hair like right in the center, and it was all the way down her back. Never had any kind of chemicals in her life. So she said she was in school, and I remember her crying one day. She was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm engaged, and I didn't tell him yet, and I don't know if he's still going to want to marry me. She said, but I'm in school, and I want to do, research to see if I can reverse alopecia. Some women are really suffering from that, and they have to wear it. Okay. And others wear it because they can change their style.
All right. Okay, sister, I got you. All right, thank you for bringing it out. Another person who's dealing with the professional part of it. Bless you, sister.
Good night.
Good night. And you know what? She had a good point. She had a lot of good points of why, sisters do it. Okay. And my whole thing is, at the end of the day, we just got to understand how what we all do affect the generations after us. And the other thing that I wanted to bring out there, be it man or woman or whatever the case is, because like I said, it always digresses back to the hair thing, right? Even though we open it up for everything else. What I was saying earlier, this is so deep that maybe we should pay more attention to this than we have been. Okay? If something is so touchy to the degree in which it leads to offense and men and women disagreeing or agreeing or whatever the case is, there must be a spirit attached to it. Okay? That we must examine. And that was the point that I was dealing with last week, stating that the Gentiles are outright telling us that they are sacrificing hair to gods and selling it to us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what spiritual, what residual effects are coming from that? The confusion and the other things of the demons that they're dealing with that's focused on confusing and destroying our women. They're not praying anything good for us. So I think that instead of us dealing with, and I understand the convenience of it and all that, and that's fine, but we have to also measure the spiritual impact it's having. Mm-hmm. and weigh it with all of those reasons for doing it. And then come to a conclusion of whether or not I'm going to continue the curse or break it by teaching our children otherwise. Okay? What's next? Let's go down. We only got a few more moments, so might as well take these calls.
All right. So we got Tony from Alabama. You're live on Blog Talk.
Tony from Alabama. So it's good we have these conversations because we're putting it all on the table. And then at the end of the day, it's what the Most High says. Tony. All right. Next call.
All right.
Okay. This is...
It says no answer, so maybe they don't want to... They're just listening.
910 area code.
Hello?
You're live with the GOCC, Gathering of Christ Church.
Yes, shalom. I was calling, to speak in the general topics you were speaking on, but if I have time to speak on what you was talking about a few minutes ago. But one of the major signs of the time, I know you did a lesson on the Muslims a few months ago, and you incorporated the Mother Goddess worship with that too.
Yeah.
And right now, that's a sign of the time that we're going through right now. We can see a lot of the Mother Goddess worship, the whore. She's just, out in full effect right now. And I want to bring this to a lot of brothers and sisters' attention. In that Daniel's 12:1, that time of trouble, if you look it up in Hebrew, it's female rival. And right now we see all throughout the planet Earth right now, in India, America, Spain, France, a lot of women, Satan is riling up to be feminist and come against the whole system of man in general. And that's one of the biggest end time signs right now, that we got a lot of female rivals, that a lot of women that are not in the Most High through Christ are just coming down to destroy everything so they can build up their system, if you hear what I'm saying.
You mean the feminist agenda that's being pushed?
Yeah, whatever they want to call it,
Okay,
just like Black Lives Matter,
hold up.
They don't call it feminist, but...
Okay, well, usually when someone references scripture, I try to go there to see what they're saying. So you said we're Daniel 12:1?
Okay, yeah. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, and if you look up the word trouble, that time of trouble...
Okay, let me get it real quick.
It says,
one moment.
It says female rival when you look it up.
Okay, trouble in feminine, it says tightness, a female rival. Man, I don't think I've seen that one like that before. That time of trouble will be adversity, affliction, anguish, distress, tribulation, what Christ prophesied, and female rival, that they would actually move in the spirit to have females rival the man. That's the feminism. Hey, you know what? I'm going to do some precepting on this, and we're going to add this up in the thing. Thank you, my brother.
All praise. All praise, and because I study this a lot, because it's not downing our females, it's just separating our sisters who are trying to be Proverbs 31 women, and that are Proverbs 31 women from that Proverbs 7 women. We have to make a clear distinction. When we talk about wicked women, we're talking about Proverbs 7 women, not sisters that are trying to be Proverbs 31 women.
I gave you a compliment. Now you're going to go into a whole lesson, ain't it? I got you, though. I'm with you.
No. I skip that.
Okay, now I got something. The Elder respected that one, so here it is. Let me come with this one to the side. Okay. Hold up. Let me go to Ecclesiastes real quick. I got it, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Praise.
All right. A female rival. That's deep, because feminism isn't empowering women. It's weakening women. It's destroying women. Okay, that's what it's doing. Because why? Masculinity by itself doesn't work, and femininity by itself doesn't work. Male and female made he them the image of the Most High God. He made the woman to be an helpmeet, not to rival who she came out of. See? But that's a deep thing in itself. A female rival in that time of trouble. And see, that's just on top of the precepts I was going into of this thing that was created that would lead to man and woman destroying each other. Deep. Here it is. Next call.
We have.
Hey, our brothers and sisters are studying. That's great. Let's go.
Shalom.
Shalom. We only got a few moments, so try to make it as short and sweet as possible. Talk to us.
Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna try to. So, getting back to the original topic, man. You know, signs of the times. Man, I remember you had this topic a while ago. Signs of the end to come, and I wanted to bring out, man. You know, going through a lot of hood scenarios and stuff like that growing up. You know, you see some cats fighting or whatever. And you know that the fight is over when you see the brother just submit and stop fighting. And I'm seeing that to be Jacob now. That's our people. We just don't fight. We have any fight for righteousness within us. We submit to any type of wickedness that come about us. And that is a clear sign of the end to come and the signs that we're in prophetically, because we are a people who were known historically to fight for righteousness. When you look at David and how he killed a giant for talking against the Most High and blaspheming the Most High. You know, these things here, you know, we don't have that fight anymore. So that's one sign. When it comes down to the sensitivity of our people, we can't have any correction without getting our feelings and wanting to rebel against our own people who genuinely come out of love and want to correct you. Now, it's one thing to ridicule somebody, but to correct them, we can't even differentiate the two. So we're stuck in a perpetual state of stagnant living. You know, the children can't be raised properly because the parents have no morality. The parents can't be corrected because they have this sensitivity and this ego issue, and we're just stuck to ourselves. And that's where Satan wants us, is stuck to ourselves to find our own way. And our own way is hell. So we're stuck in that perpetual stagnant living. And it's just become, it's just become a clear sign of our people not having any fight left in us. It's time for Christ to come and save us, because if we go on like this, we're done. Jacob is done. So I see why days must be shortened for the elect's sake, because it's perpetual. As generations go on, they're becoming shorter. I'm 25 years of age, and these new cats coming up nowadays, I cannot relate. I have to disassociate generations because we're just different. You know, the things that they're doing are so low morally that I can't, I mean, I have to hang around cats 35, 40, 50 years old because I can relate to them. I can't relate to people my own age.
Hey,
you know,
brother.
I'm trying to get through these as quick as possible.
Go ahead, hurry up, come on.
The separation, the separation of our people. You know, we separate ourselves from those who actually would have the best for us. And it internally breaks us apart, because now look at us, we have problems with our women, we have problems with our children, we got problems within ourselves. So this whole separatism that's going on amongst us is a big issue, and also ignoring the fact. How is it that our people who are so intellectually inclined to the point where if you incarcerate a brother, the brother can invent something like putting batteries together to light a cigarette, just organically in prison? The intellectual people ignore facts. You can tell a person how this country is not for them, and things in this country is tearing us apart. And they can ignore that, but go down the street and listen to Bobby who's selling some weed about some nonsense. These are clear indications, and the demoralization of our women. You know, you can tell a lot about the state of a nation by their women. And our women have gone to man, this is a new low for Israel. You know, out here, like you said, you got mothers dressing up their daughters in these, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's time for our people to realize that these are signs for us to get it together or get trampled when Christ comes back. There's no in between. With that, I digress, and I love you, Shalom. I love
hey, brother, before you go,
the leaders and all of y'all.
Hey, brother, before you go, I want to say something to you. Being 25 years of age, I'm going to tell you, brother, in your words, there's hope. And just to hear you at your age articulate the world as you see it, tells us and let us know, and we all know Christ's sacrifice wasn't in vain, and the works that we're doing in this earth isn't in vain if a young man like yourself can articulate and see the world as it is and be connected with us in this time. Let me say this, brother. What you have articulated is prophecy, because there is no hope for the world as a whole. The only way the Most High can solve this is through a complete, and he will solve it, through a complete rendition. The only way this is going to be solved is through judgment, fire. We're just trying to pull people out and have them see themselves and try as much as we can to show them their connection spiritually to Babylon, so that they don't fall victim like Lot's wife fell victim, like the men that were in Sodom and Gomorrah believing that another day would arise before the fire. Brother, there is no hope outside of this truth, outside of the Most High's word. But you know what? Within the work itself, what I've just heard gave me hope for your generation, that there's brothers just like you at your age will see what you see. That's my hope. But the world is already too far gone. It's having these discussions hours on end to at least get to a phone call like this to let us know that it's worth it. That out there, which is fishing, which is casting our line out there and saying, come on in with us before the ark is shut. There is no hope. There is no hope for this world, brother. It's over. The only way to correct this, because it's too far gone, is a total rendition, which is the judgment that will come through this last world war. And while we're talking about these little things, which are very important, but these are the things we have to shake our people from, right now, the UN armies are surrounding and have surrounded Iran. And the war is upon us. The war is upon us. But the Most High say, let's condescend to the lowest level. People wonder why I'm having these little conversations. And I'm just having these little minute conversations that's dealing with the minute points. Because these minute points aren't small at all. These are the things that are keeping us attached in Sodom and Gomorrah, not realizing the fire it's on its way. You're going to look up. We're going to look up. No more videos. No more music. Just like Revelations 18 say. No more singers. Just smoke. And if it be the mercy of the Most High, if he have grace on us, we'll be on the other side looking at it. But I'm just trying, what we're trying to do as a church is to fish as many people out and drop certain jewels and certain information that will have them on the right side of this ark. Because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. That's just the reality of it. And people will always make an excuse for why they're doing it. That's not my position. It's not my position to make choices for other people and say, well, listen, you got to follow what I say because I'm absolutely right, because you'll be following man. Make that relationship with the Most High, brother, like you're doing. Brother, never, let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you, this road is not going to be easy, young man. Just watch that you don't get offended over any little thing and stand.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Oh, he's gone. But I'm going to say, just stand with that same courage that I'm hearing to the very end, and don't be offended. Don't be the one where that seed didn't take root and grow into a full tree. Don't be that one that with all this knowledge and understanding and all that get diverted and get offended and fall to the wayside. Stand, brother.
That's right.
Stand. Read what you have, Elder Lawyer.
It says here, this is Hosea 4:1.
Come on.
Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
Hear ye the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel.
For the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
He have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land.
Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land.
There's no truth, mercy, or knowledge of the Most High in this land. There's no helping Babylon. It must go. We just have to pull out as many people as possible on the way out of it. So that's why these discussions are being had. Not to offend someone or to say this, that, and the other, or just say, well, these are the things you choose and we don't agree with your lifestyle and the reason you do it. No. We're having these small, minute conversations that may seem small to you. Because why, brothers and sisters? Some of us are going to have to let go what we are attached to in Babylon, including ourselves. We're going to have to let go ourselves all the way and be born again. Okay, to see the other side of this judgment, to actually see the glory of the Most High. And it's including all the things we desired in this world, all the things that we were attached to in this world and thought that it was a part of our being. When Christ says you have to be born again, that means you must be ready to let everything go, including yourself, and trust in him. True faith, according to the Bible. Okay? And guess what? I didn't want to be up here from 7:30 to 11:30 at night. Okay? I mean, this is not what I desired to do. When I heard that call, it all made sense. We're reaching people. And brothers that I don't even know, sisters that I don't even know, are taking righteous and courageous stances for the truth and standing against all adversity. Okay? And that's the hope I have within the truth and within those who actually see the truth. That's the hope. That gives me hope and say, listen, I don't mind staying here for 3-4 hours if we can get to one person like that. Okay? Hearing a young man like that is the reason I'll persevere through it all. I'm encouraged to know that the Most High had us get to a young man like that. The work wasn't in vain. It isn't in vain. Finish reading.
Mm-hmm. It says here in verse 2, by swearing and lying, in killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood.
And blood toucheth blood. That's the world we're in now. Read.
Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. With the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the air, with the fishes of the sea, shall also be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priest. In other words, our people, regardless of anything of the reproof, who it comes from, where it's coming from, they'll strive with the priest of God.
Yeah, those that are corrected will strive with the righteous priest of the Most High. Go on.
Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children.
And I will also forget thy children. That's a curse. And hey, let me tell you something, man. This is how you know it's over. In Revelations 18, it says at the end of this, we'll be looking on the outside and bewailing her after the fire has hit, after the fire has come through the nuclear missiles when you link it up with Esdras, the second Esdras. And it says the beautiful music and all that we have accomplished here will be gone in 1 hour. And hey, I can see that clearly when great spiritual singers and those who encouraged us through the music like Sam Cooke, right, is now replaced with Lil Wayne. Or Whitney Houston being replaced with Cardi B. Look at what we grew up listening to and what this generation. Guess what? The music and all the beautiful inspirational music that led us toward the Most High has died. It's gone. It's over. The question is, what side of the ark will you be on? The outside or the inside? We'll leave that up to you. And understand it comes down to some of the little decisions we think are little. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected the knowledge of the Most High, he will also reject thee. Brothers and sisters, come back home. Follow the Bible before the rain of fire. Not before, while we're still in Babylon. Not before you get in this academy and learn and cleave to the gathering of Christ Church before the Babylonian bounce. With that, I'm going to say, Elder Lawya, great conversation this evening. And brothers and sisters, examine your ways. And you know what? We'll do the same. Bless you. Bless you.
Are you seeking to strengthen your biblical foundation? Join us in the Hebrew Bible Academy, where we offer 12 weeks of in-depth learning in a structured environment. Receive real-time news from Brother Shapat and amazing lessons by Elder Rawchaa. Learn ancient Hebrew with Elder Lawya. With 12 amazing lessons, you're guaranteed to learn more about your true biblical history and authentic Hebrew language than you would in a traditional Christian church for only a one-time payment of $150 or 3 monthly payments of $50. Join us at historytimes.org and sign up today. It's not too late. See you in the academy.